What is going on, everybody? It is episode 389 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Brett is running to the other side of the room. Today, we have a special guest on the show. I was on his podcast, but unfortunately, that episode is never to be seen in the future because of tech issues. That won't happen today. We're professionals.
Well, we hope, and that man's name is... Introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, I'm Mike. Hi, I'm Mike. How are you? Very nice to meet you guys. I'm great, thank you.
So you had Mary on. Was it like 2 weeks ago? No, you were on vacation
like
2 weeks. A month ago.
It was like a month ago. The podcast is called The New Nation, or is it just A New Nation?
Or is
it just New Nation?
When you were on, it's The New Nation.
But you changed it?
No, I did change it to The New Nation, so it was something previous.
Right.
Something different.
Right.
Right.
I was on the first episode,
you were.
technically, of the rebrand.
Yes.
So, very proud
Sorry.
of that. But it's never to be seen.
I know.
Well, the tech
Sadly.
issues are
all
par
shade
for the course.
intended.
It was all my fault.
No, to be fair, because I always get very, very black pilled with tech issues. So like anytime I hear that other people have tech issues,
We've been
I'm
in the trenches with tech issues.
There was a period of time, I kid you not, where we had 3 live streams in a row cut at exactly an hour and 18 minutes every single time, and
really?
we literally just had to get
weird.
We had to get a new computer. We was like we troubleshooted for like days, couldn't figure it out. Finally, just had to replace the computer.
Well, she thought I was joking when I said, "Hey, the episode's no good." She was like, "Oh, that's very funny." I said, "No, I can't put it up."
No, but then I blamed it on demons, and
rightfully so.
I'm pretty confident that it was.
I think so too. Yeah,
could have been.
They
demons.
like to meddle.
Yeah, out of almost 100 episodes, it just happened to be the episode that you were on where it decided to
We had a
malfunction.
weird power outage yesterday before the show even started, which made us uneasy.
No, was that? Oh yeah, no. But 2 days ago we had stream issues because we had issues where the stream was lagging and we couldn't get the bit rate up.
And then last night watching The Flash, they had to restart it like 5 times.
Ooh.
Exactly.
It's just constant problems.
We went to The Flash last night, guys, and I kid you not, it was a captioned version of the movie, and they kept starting the movie, and no captions would show up, and they'd make it through about 5 minutes of the movie. They'd stop. They'd try to start it again.
Then
and
eventually they were like, "Sorry, we can't do captions. We're gonna give you all vouchers for a free movie."
Then the captions worked anyways.
And then the captions worked anyways. But I am going to go back and go Karen on their asses and get my free movie voucher.
Of course
because
you will. You're gonna be like,
I already have
want my
saved
free
up
movie.
3.
You should go there and just learn just enough sign language to speak. That'd be rude. That'd be rude.
I went there one time for a movie and then walked in and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we have plumbing issues. Everyone has to leave. Here are free vouchers."
That
and
sounds
I've
fake,
never
too.
been more depressed in my life.
During the movie?
No, it was like before. They didn't even send emails out. I drove all the way there to realize I couldn't go in.
Yep. So, guys, we have a bunch of stuff to talk about today. It's Friday. We're going to be chill. We're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to talk about the fact that Barbie is now looking to outpace Oppenheimer at the box office. I don't know if I would have ever predicted
girls.
I don't know if I would have ever predicted a day in which I would have seen a Greta Gerwig feminist Barbie film outpace a Christopher Nolan epic.
Feminist.
It's going to be feminist. There's going to be some minor feminist messaging. I guarantee it. I don't know what it is.
You're gonna have fun watching it.
I didn't say it wouldn't be fun. I'll go. It'll be fun. We'll see what it's like. Did you see the Photoshop of us as Barbie and Ken?
I loved that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
In the roller skates.
Yeah. No, there was another one that Carnell sent the other day. It's us. It's the cover where they get arrested and they've got
You need
they're
to
holding
send
the
that
flags.
to me.
Yeah, I'll
see
send that up there. It's amazing. But yeah,
They
I'll
also
send you
made
that.
an Oppenheimer movie poster of us.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Where are you, Oppenheimer?
I hope so.
And I guess I'm the mushroom cloud.
Yes, that's what it was. That's what it was. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the fact that the newly unionized strippers are out in solidarity with the WGA writers' strike. It's as cringy as it sounds. Believe me. If you've never been to a strip club, the lights,
And
the
I hope you
music,
haven't.
and the alcohol plays a big part in what you're watching.
Tell us in the chat if you have been to a strip club before.
Yes. Also,
Confessional time.
I've been.
He's been. And I do have a poll up, guys. I put the poll up. It says, like, who's going to win at the box office, Barbie or Oppenheimer? Right now, Barbie is sitting in the lead at 53%. So, again, I never would have imagined that would have been the case.
I have a theory.
You do.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it. So we're also going to talk about the fact that Warner Brothers Discovery is sponsoring Outfest, which has a segment of the festival. It's a gay film festival where they're talking about queer children's lives, and we're going to get into that. We're going to discuss it. It's more heavily political than I would usually like to discuss, but it matters because I've been pointing out recently, like, look, if you look up on the index, Warner Brothers Discovery has a higher environmental social governance score than even Disney. And if you were wondering why, this could speak to a reason as to why that would be. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the fact that the governor wants to become the president, but he can't because he's from Austria. You can't run for president if you weren't a naturalized American citizen.
You're not going to
But
say
Arnie,
his last name, are you?
I never say his last name because it can get clipped. I said it last time. Arnold, Terminator.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arnie. I just call him Arnie.
Okay.
But he says that he thinks he could have won. If he could win. If he ran for president right now, he thinks he could win. I don't think he actually understands what's going on in the
Very sure
world.
of himself.
He's very sure.
He thinks he's young enough, too.
Yeah, he's so old. He's
Maybe
like,
it's time we need another Austrian leader again.
yeah, I don't know about that. Like track record, bad track record. So if you guys are ready, we will get right into the start of the show. Mary, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Mike, you ready?
I'm
Ready
ready.
as I'm gonna be.
Let's do this. So to get started, I want to first make a couple of quick announcements. This one's kind of surprising to me. Secret Invasion has got the lowest Marvel Disney Plus Rotten Tomatoes score, which is pretty surprising because I thought it was, out of all the Marvel properties that have come out in the last several years, this had the best trailer that I've seen out of any of them. And Samuel L. Jackson is obviously kind of a bankable dude, right? So you get him on a television series, even if it's a Disney Plus television series, it feels to me like something that would have done very well. But right now it's sitting at just 72%, which, to be fair, is still a passing grade in Rotten Tomatoes land, but it's lower than a lot of the other ones, which have gotten very, very decent scores from them. And it's just surprising to see, considering Samuel L. Jackson's as big of a name as he is, and he's played Nick Fury for like, what, over a decade now.
I'm gonna just say all Disney Marvel shows are trash. Literally all of them.
Yeah, the only one that I kind of had a soft spot for was Hawkeye, and that was because it was it took place at Christmas, and I kind of enjoyed that part of it, you know. Oh, money gun. There you go.
Thank you.
He just got his first
Mike was very jazzed to find out about the money guns.
This is great.
Yes. Also, guys, remember, before we get started further, remember, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Thank you very much. Remember, if you have any questions, Super Chats, $20 and over. Questions, comments, concerns, you can Super Chat those in. We will interrupt the discussion right then and there. We will read them, and then we will get right back on topic as best we can. So if you have questions for Mike, or if you have questions for Mary.
Why are you so happy?
He's very happy right now.
It'd be awesome. I love questions. They can ask me anything.
Oh, wow. He's turning into an AMA.
Google
Oh,
me
okay.
and then get deep into it.
Okay.
And then you'd have to force me to talk about,
Yeah.
dark parts of my past.
There you
Yeah.
go. So all Super Chats, $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read them right then and there, and then we will get right back on topic. So here we go. Also, guys, we did our review for The Flash yesterday. The Flash was directed by Andy Muschietti, who has just been announced as the director for Batman, the Brave and the Bold. I don't know how I feel about that. I think I enjoyed The Flash. I thought it got strong emotional resonance, and I think a big part of that is due to the criminal that they have as a lead actor in that, surprisingly enough. But, the guy's got a decent track record for directing, so they're going to have this dude do Batman, the Brave and the Bold. Given how important the Bat family is to DC, how much Batman means to them, and by extension, all of the characters in the Bat family are to them IP-wise, I would have probably tried to hire a director with more of a pedigree than this guy. But at the same time, when you do that, DC doesn't want to lose control of the material they're making by giving a director who has more power to have a say over what gets put into the film, right? So it's why we talk about Marvel. They've made the exceptions with the likes of Sam Raimi, but for the most part, they work with directors who are going to play ball with the studio. And if you hire bigger name directors, it's a lot harder to do that. But clearly, Andy Muschietti is on the good side of James Gunn and Peter Safran. So given the fact that I didn't hate The Flash, and I gave it a 6 to 7, and Mary gave it a 5.5.
I'm surprised. I didn't hate it either. I thought it was slightly above average.
Yeah, and the other thing that was funny, I was explaining to someone that the guy who wrote it, John Francis Daley, did you ever see Freaks and Geeks? The show Freaks and Geeks. He's the guy. He's one of the writers on this movie. He played Lance Sweets on Bones for like 10 years. He wrote that script before, like when Obama was in office. He wrote that script in like 2014, and that movie's taken a decade to come out. And like the fact that it holds up as well, granted the CGI is awful.
Maybe it holds up because it was written before current year.
That was actually one of my thoughts. Like, why isn't there any like woke garbage in this film? Maybe it's because most of it was written before that was a problem in the writers' room.
They didn't call Batman a fascist.
They didn't do that, which Mary was very upset about when she saw that in the Blue Beetle trailer.
The fact that it's the last thing in the trailer too, it just leaves you with this negative feeling about it.
Yep.
I didn't think any of the Blue Beetle trailer was good, but
it felt very paint by numbers.
Wait, that's negative to call Batman a fascist?
Yes,
that would
it
have
is.
pumped me up to go see it.
we also we saw this story of a girl who was like interviewing to work at DC, right?
Yes.
DC Film Studios, and they asked her, "So, why do you?"
Oh,
hate
that was the comics.
I
I believe that was the comics where they said, "So why do you hate
why
Batman?"
do you hate Batman? She was like, I don't. Like, what do you mean?
Because
they're
he's a
like,
straight
well,
white male.
he's a straight white male and he's a fascist. So,
These
I
are
mean,
the people at
obviously
DC saying
we're
that?
supposed to hate him.
You're supposed to hate him because he's a straight white guy who's using his money to fight crime and not end poverty. Which I guess actually no, there was kind of a little bit of wokeness with the Wonder Woman
with the
cameo.
Wonder Woman truth lasso.
I forgot about that. Never mind.
While Batman is
No.
trapped in the truth lasso in the Flash, he admits openly that, you know, if he really wanted to fight crime, he would be fighting to end poverty.
Yeah.
But
The lasso of truth got him real bad, and then
Batman
Barry
is
Allen
secretly woke, and that's why I hate him.
and then Barry Allen admits that he's a virgin.
Yeah. Didn't he like get a boner for Wonder Woman?
Yes,
That was not kid friendly.
So you guys don't do spoilers here or anything like that, right?
well, yeah,
we did spoilers.
we did.
in our
I put
review.
Okay.
I put spoilers in the notification.
Oh.
I'm pretty bad about that. So sometimes I put spoiler alert in the notification, and I realize there are no spoilers. Other times I won't put the notification on there, and there's totally spoilers on there. So it is.
He knows.
what it is.
This guy's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Batman the Brave and the Bold. We'll see where it goes. It'll be very interesting to see who the hell they cast as Damian Wayne. So, we'll follow that as it goes. But we're a long way off, considering we're still in the middle of a writer's strike and a looming Screen Actors Guild strike. So, who knows when any of this stuff is going to get done. Speaking of bad ideas, though, we were talking earlier about bad ideas. Yesterday, do you remember I talked about The Bone Collector being made into a sequel? Now they're saying that the movie 7 is going to be made into a television series on Netflix with David Fincher involved in it. Please, no. Just no. You said it before the show. You said, no, don't do it.
No, we can't have anything nice.
Are we gonna have Brad Pitt?
What's in the box? Who are they going to get back for this? Are they going to get Spacey? Are we going to get?
I wonder what it's gonna. Is it gonna be a prequel to their origin stories where they come? Because Brad Pitt's character came from a smaller town, and then he comes to what looks like Detroit and Los Angeles mixed together.
And to me, this is one of those things. It speaks to what we were talking about yesterday, and what me and you were talking about before the show. It's just like, look. This was a different era when it was a lot easier to create ambiance on screen. I really firmly do believe in a lot of cases the use of digital photography in these shows, in these movies. Everything's too bright, everything's too crisp, everything is too clean in a way that doesn't really work with the storytelling. It's one of the reasons that Joker actually was kind of a marvel. They do capture the dirty like New York in the night, like you see all the garbage bags piled up on the street.
I was there for it.
They worked very hard to make authentic set design in that felt unique to the time period, and the film managed to capture that. But 99 times out of 100, I don't feel that.
Were you an
most
extra
movies...
in that?
No, but my uncle was.
Wait, again?
No,
in The Bone Collector, not
Oh, in
7.
The
No,
Bone
yeah.
Collector.
No, I was talking about Joker. In Joker, like you
yes.
see the garbage bags piled up on the street. They do a good job of building what the ambiance and the tone would have felt like for movies back at that time period.
Yeah.
But tell me about that. You had an uncle who was in The Bone Collector.
I do. Well, I do have an uncle. He's still alive. Yes. Yeah, he starred in the first 3.5 minutes of The Bone Collector. There's a scene there where
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So take this what you will. These are very early announcements, and anytime you get these types of updates, because they put like our trusted and proven sources, which kind of feels like was credibly accused.
Is that tongue-in-cheek
like that
thing?
feels like when they say was credibly accused. Like I don't know what that means, but we'll have to wait and see whether this actually comes to fruition. I don't know if it actually will, but I don't think it needs to be made. I really don't. So, did you see that Elemental is not doing good? They're predicting under 40 million.
As expected.
Under 40 million for
It's
Elemental.
so dumb. Like, okay, it's the girl is made of fire, the guy is made of water, but they're in love. It's just like a commentary on like race relations or something.
Kids from the opposite side of the tracks. Yeah. So
yeah, they're elements, but I mean, we all know what that represents.
Sure,
Here's the thing: this is going to be one of only 2 movies that will have opened under $40 million, and both of them directed by the same guy, Peter San. So there's like he directed The Good Dinosaur, which I never saw, and I don't even remember.
I've never even heard of that.
Never even heard of it. So like that was 2016 or something like that. It was older.
Didn't do well.
Didn't do well. Opened to $39 million, and it was over a Thanksgiving weekend, which means it should have opened to way more than that.
What was the budget for the film and marketing?
That's it. Well, I mean, if it's a Pixar movie, I bet you it was over $100 million.
Right.
Which means ad marketing, it's at least 150 to 200 million, which means it lost a lot of money. But then also Onward didn't do well at the box office. It only opened to 39 million, but they mentioned that was during like right before COVID.
March 2020.
Yeah. So it was right before all the theaters got shut down during COVID. They also make a very annoying part in this article where they point out, like, they put out, just as theaters are getting back on their feet after COVID. And I'm like, you mean like a year ago now?
Yeah. Well, they're doing the exact opposite of what Hollywood studios normally did, where if a new director had a hit movie, he had license to do anything. Yep. If a new director had a crappy movie, that's kind of it. So the fact that this guy got 2 done, good for him.
Well, they like to fail upwards now in Hollywood.
Failing upwards, yes.
You fail upwards a lot in Hollywood. Oh, also, guys, I do want to point out, since we did mention The Flash, I probably could have woven this into the discussion. It's going to have ridiculous legs at the box office, because at the high end of the estimates right now are that it's going to open at $85 million this weekend, which on a budget of which they claim is $250, and I'm calling bumkus on that. Like, it's at least
you said that you estimated it cost $400 million.
At least. Like,
what goes into that estimation? Just the amount of CGI?
The amount of time. No, the amount of time that it's sat on the shelf. So it's sat on the shelf for an insane period of time. The marketing has been extremely heavy for this movie. I've seen ads for this all over the place. Costner. Keaton doesn't come cheap at all. I don't know how much. I bet you Clooney made a payday for that movie. So
for 30 seconds.
For 30 seconds of the film. So,
what did he do? Are you able to say? Because I didn't see it. I wasn't able to make it.
He made a cameo at the very end.
As himself?
Let's leave it out.
Dang. Okay, tell me after the show.
So look, it cost a lot of money to make. It sat on the shelf for a long time. It feels like they're trying to put a Band-Aid on something where if they had their own lasso of truth thrown around them, what they would say, imagine you're Zaslav and he's got the lasso of truth around him right now. What he'd be saying is like, look, this movie's been burning a hole in our pocket for 5 years. Ezra Miller is a creep that constantly keeps attacking women and throwing chairs at people. We just need to get this thing out so we can start letting James Gunn and Peter Safran focus on the new DCU. Everything feels left over and like you're in some type of weird holding pattern because none of these characters theoretically are coming back.
They're kind of like, let's get this over with.
Just get it over with, because we got to get to Aquaman and get that crap shoot out of here. And they got to get that, because that one's getting
Blue Beetle.
That one, no, well, Blue Beetle will possibly be considered part of the new. May end up being. They might. I would be more likely to believe that James Gunn would roll Blue Beetle over from the DCEU into the DCU. Because it's a younger actor.
It's okay. During the trailer, when he like bursts through the roof of his apartment, and he's like, it echoes where he's like, "It's gonna be okay." I just can't with that like childish humor.
Yep.
Like, it's very corny to me.
Well, that's I mean, most of it feels that way these days.
With like rampant swearing and sexual innuendo.
The swearing in The Flash was the weirdest part to me. The constant swearing. Like, I really do believe, like, I pointed out in the review, I said,
like, get these children out of the theater.
Yeah, like, I was like, I that's not even my child, and I want to put my hands over his ears so that he doesn't have to hear all the swearing.
They were deaf, so turn off the captions.
Turn off the captions. Not all of them were deaf. There
were some deaf kids in the theater, though.
But, like, look, like, if the swearing was just a part of Earth 2 Ezra's character to show his level of immaturity. That's actually clever. I don't buy that they actually had the forethought to actually like weave that into the character, but they could have. Like I didn't register whether all the swearing was coming from the one character or if all the characters were swearing. If all the swearing came from Earth 2 Ezra, then it's a very clever.
I mean, think about the very end with the George Clooney appearance.
Yeah, but that's
he was
Ezra.
Like, who the F is this guy?
No, Ezra says that. Oh yeah, but it's the other Ezra. It's the other Ezra. Yeah, it's the other Barry Allen.
So it's not. They didn't do it cleverly, like you said.
Yeah. Well, I gave him too much credit. I hate it when that happens. All right. Also, guys. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has been banned in the United Arab Emirates. They don't give a for sure reason, but they say it's likely due to the Protect Trans Lives poster. I would love to know what Saudi Arabia's take is on trans Gwen Stacy.
So many people thought that Gwen Stacy was implicitly trans in this.
It's those colors, man. You make anything purple, light purple,
it's
light
bisexual
blue.
lighting.
There's this amazing.
Is there trans lighting now?
I hate that.
But they were like, look, Gwen Stacy has like this haircut that all the people on Tumblr have, and has kind of a strong jawline. She's trans.
Like it's one of those things where I saw this amazing meme the other day. It says like when a white woman's 2-year-old son plays with the Barbie and she puts on a trans colored bandana. It says time to go to work. Like, it's just, like that's what
my
it feels
time
like.
has come.
Yeah, like that's what it feels like. So this is a lot to do about nothing, but a lot of these theaters, Disney especially, has kind of come to terms with the fact that look, the message matters more. We're going to release these movies, and we're not always going to worry about whether it's going to be released in some of these countries that have more of an implicit problem with this agenda.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Not much you can do about that. But also to be fair to the movie, a lot of people really, really, really like Across the Spider-Verse. So maybe they're missing out. Let's talk. You want to talk about Padre Pio?
Yeah, so you sent me this article from Bounding Into Comics that says Catholic priest urges everyone to avoid Padre Pio movie starring Shia LaBeouf. I was really excited to see this, and I am going to watch it, but you've already seen it, and you said it was god-awful.
Well, I wouldn't say god-awful, because that is a bit of blasphemy. Oh, really? Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it is. God would not approve, I don't think. No.
So what was your take?
Okay, so, I'll try to make it as brief and not really give too much away. But if you've seen the trailer, which a lot of people, I'm sure, have, it's been a viral thing, Shia LaBeouf as Padre Pio does not have as big an impact on this movie just with his on-screen time alone, as is the story about him. So he's in it for maybe about a combined, I said 15 to 20 minutes earlier, I'll maybe say 20 to 25 minutes. He's not in the movie. The movie is basically a Marxist love letter from its director, and remind me of the director's name,
Abel
Ferrara, who actually has made some decent films in the 80s and the 90s, but he did start out as a porn director, so we can't be surprised about what type of movie this guy makes. But the only saving grace of this movie is Shia LaBeouf as Padre Pio. He does, anytime Padre Pio is doing a mass, he does it in Latin, so Shia had to learn the Latin. But other than that, they make this whole political movie about communists, socialists versus the rise of fascism in Italy, but they make no mention of Padre Pio's political history, which he was very heavily politically involved, especially later on in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, where he helped this sounds bad, but the Democratic Christians, that party in Italy, they were basically like the bulwark against the communists and socialists. So Padre Pio was out there. Whenever he left the monastery, which was very rarely, he did so to vote against the communists and the socialists. So,
but the film is a Marxist love letter.
It 100% is. It makes the fascists out to be, the horrible landowners who provide these people with work and get out of here, poor people. It's very contrived.
If I was a cynical person, which I am much of the time, I would imagine that look, if you're going to these studios and you get used to it after a while. If you're going to these studios and you're pitching a movie, right? Mm-hmm. That's a segment. Now, if you go to a studio and you say, I want to make a movie about Padre Pio, they're like, kick rocks.
Right.
We want nothing to do with that. But if you say, I want to make a movie about evil fascists, you're a lot more likely to get funding. So what creative directors have to do is they have to find ways to sneak in what they want into the confines of the rigid storytelling that these industries want them to tell.
Well,
Yes.
what I heard about this film is that they showed it at a film festival. I think they showed it at Cannes
or Berlin,
and
maybe.
then got bad reviews and they had to go back and edit it to make it acceptable to get money. So maybe they edited out a lot of where Padre Pio was like in his own movie.
Maybe, probably.
To get it sold. But you said like the best thing about this movie is when Padre Pio is in it. And
Yeah.
I see that like this review from this priest says, no, that's actually the worst part because it misrepresents who Padre Pio was and what he stood for, that the director took too many liberties with him using foul language, resorting to profanity. This argument he has with a woman who's in confession, tells
That's the
her to
devil.
get the F, or the devil?
That's
Okay.
the devil, yes.
Tells her to get the F out of his quarters.
As you would.
Uncharacteristically uses a foul word, which St. Pio never would have used.
He doesn't know
and then
that.
he said, when anything comes out of Hollywood, you know it's going to be filled with poison.
Which is partly true, though.
But there's nothing to substantiate that we know he would have said this. So
yeah, and
when
there's
they
also...
take that liberty,
Well, think about it. He's
suspicious of
Italian. He's Italian, so maybe he has a little bit of
Do they-
fire in him.
Do they have that word in Italian?
Yeah, fangul, that's
Okay.
that's what they say. But the thing is that part where a lot of people saw Shia say "get the F out," say "Christ is Lord," like we were saying before, when you're confronting a demon, I think any type of language is acceptable, especially when you're damning them to hell.
I wasn't aware of the context. I thought it was
Right,
just
yeah. So a lot of people
random
see
woman.
Shia just giving confession to a woman, but the actual scene and most of the movie when Shia / Padre Pio is involved has to do with his physical battle against demons. Like Padre Pio was a very mystical saint. Like that's what we know about him. Bilocation, the stigmata, his visions.
Physical fights
with demons. It would be in his letters that he would write to his mentors and other priests about him physically battling demons. So in this particular scene, I think the director probably took a really good creative liberty where he had the devil show up as a woman seeking confession. And I think even in the credits, that's a guy, but it looks like a woman. It's very, very weird.
Hate it when that happens.
Yeah, maybe she had some trans lighting. Who knows?
All right.
She had the bisexual lighting mixed with the trans lighting. That happens. I hate it when that happens.
But yeah, the confession was very, very. You can feel the tension of that scene where Padre Pio is clearly being confronted by a demon or the devil himself. So where he gets very, very upset and emotional and confronts the devil. Where they took maybe too much of a liberal sort of creative direction with Padre Pio is where they involved like naked women as demons, kind of like gyrating on the floor of his quarters. Like that was probably unnecessary. We don't need to see that. It kind of came out of left field, but it is Abel Ferreira and it is like a fever dream of sorts that Padre Pio could have been having. But other than that, it's really not worth your time. And if you do want to watch a relatively good movie about a 20th century saint, then I would recommend Terrence Malick's A Hidden Life. And we spoke about that briefly.
It just sounds like very deceptive and bizarre that it would be named after him, and it's really nothing.
Well, it's
not about him.
Like you were saying,
basically has a cameo in his own movie.
Right. I mean, if you were trying to drum up money for either distribution or whatever, you would cut a trailer that seemed like 50%.
Only Shia LaBeouf in
right.
the promotional
Well,
material.
Exactly.
that's what a savvy business person does
Mm-hmm.
because he's the draw for that movie. And there's plenty of films that have done that in the past.
Oh,
Where,
yeah.
where
Well,
they
that
they
sucks.
misrepresent how much a person is in a movie.
This is disappointing because I did want to see a well-made film about Padre Pio. He's a really interesting.
Well,
I mean, even if you're
there
not
is one.
Catholic,
Yeah.
he's an interesting historical figure.
Yeah.
And
That's like Kevin Spacey in Seven.
exactly,
this is just a
exactly,
very
right?
lost
Like,
opportunity.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
especially after like Shia LaBeouf seems to have gone through this conversion, had this conversation with Bishop Barron.
There was a lot more publicity around that
Yeah.
than probably the actual movie.
Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah.
Did you see Nefarious?
No, I didn't. And a lot of, because it was in the theater, and having a toddler is very tough to get away from her to go actually to a movie theater. But then
let's leave him at home.
Well, no, not even that. But then a couple friends of mine said, "Hey, it's streaming." I said, "Oh, cool, I'll rent it." But then it was $20 to rent it, and I was like, "I'll wait a month or two."
Evil capitalists.
But
I thought it was on Tubi.
No, Exemplum was on Tubi, and Exemplum is really, really, really good.
I hear Nefarious is great. Watching the trailer, it does kind of have this kind of maybe edgy Hallmarky type of vibe.
Yeah, that's what I got from the trailer, so I wasn't sure.
But here's the I liked Nefarious, but that's because I actually like both of those actors that are involved in that, Jordan Belfi and Sean Patrick
I don't know who the other guy is.
The other guy's a pretty veteran TV. Like, he's one of those people, like, if you watch a lot of TV, if you grew up watching a lot of TV,
he's on NCIS.
He shows up on a lot of the network shows, so he's a reliable dude. So maybe like one of the bigger roles I had seen for him. And Sean Patrick Flanery is very clearly the star of that production. But Nefarious was very, very good, but at a higher budget. But Exemplum was made on very little money.
It was made like $10,000.
What is this about?
It's
why have I never heard of it?
Directed by Paul Bois, who was on the show last week.
Yes, Paul Roland. Technically, he went by Roland, but he writes under Bois and directs under Roland.
Okay,
he's a Breitbart writer.
He's a Breitbart writer, and he made this movie. It's about a priest who records people in his confessional, and he uses them for inspiration on his podcast, and then he uses one of those tapes to blackmail one of his parishioners.
Really?
When he gets
a wealthy, corrupt parishioner.
When he gets disillusioned with the church because they're going to move him to it's literally, I guess, as somebody who's not religious, I imagine it's the same thing that happens like when an FBI agent screws up and they send him to whatever the Siberia. They send him to Oklahoma or something. Actually, Oklahoma might have been a hotbed for a while because of...
For a little bit. Oh.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying, though, right? So they're sending him to some nowhere parish, and he's disillusioned with the church, and he loses his faith. So he decides to blackmail this parishioner, and he engages a young woman, and then it's great. You have to see it. It's fantastic.
Okay, to be narcissistic, I do have my own screenplay that slightly revolves around Catholicism. So
there you go. So,
shopping it has been a little difficult.
Yeah. Well, he said it took him a while to get the funding for this, and $9,000 that's a micro budget. That's not even.
Did it look good?
It looks fantastic. It's all in black and white.
Oh, awesome.
It's all in black and white. He does a very good job of using all his sets effectively, and shooting it in black and white allows for control of the lighting when you're outside in a way that you wouldn't be able to do without more expensive equipment.
Yeah.
So it's
cool.
very
very
hard
good
to find movies that have religious themes that aren't foul these days. So
you can if
like Father Stew.
But yeah, like Father Stew is a good example. Like that was a good one.
But would an example almost be Prisoners? Because Prisoners kind of has a Christian foundation. But I don't know if that would necessarily be foul.
Have you watched The Silence? I believe it's called.
The Silence.
Prisoners, you mean Villeneuve, right?
Yeah.
That had Bradley Cooper in it.
The Silence.
Playing a missionary in Japan.
No, that's Silence. That's Andrew Garfield, Adam Driver, and Liam Neeson.
Oh no,
that one's really good. I mean, people who are
the ending is controversial.
The ending's great. The ending is what that movie is all about, and you hope that ending happens, and it does. So
yeah.
Also, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was a good one. But yeah, maybe give Exemplum a watch. It's free to stream it. So
okay.
Recommend from Brett.
Okay, I will.
All right, guys. Before we move on to full discussions, let us do cringe and cute of the day. Mary, what would you prefer, cute or cringe?
Ooh, what's that?
Let's start with cringe.
Cringe? Okay, yeah. Let's get it over with. First things first, ladies and gentlemen. Let's show Tom Holland here. You want to tell everyone about this one, Mary?
Yeah. So in 2017, he did a performance on Lip Sync Battle where he basically cross-dressed and danced to Rihanna's Umbrella. And he recently commented on it in an interview. He said, "I'm proud of it. I don't give an F. I've grown up in the most non-toxic masculine environment possible. I didn't realize what I was doing was so forward-thinking. I was just like, yeah, F it. I'll put some fishnets on and dance in the rain.
Okay.
That'll be really fun. I don't care."
I don't like it.
It looks like he even shaved his armpits for this, but maybe he's just that prepubescent looking.
Yeah, he's pretty much. He's got like pretty defined features there. He's probably pretty. He's an adult by that point. So
it's just cringy, and I don't understand why Zendaya would be attracted to him in general, but especially after this, because this is when they started dating.
Because he's extremely successful, and she's been indoctrinated to think that anything more masculine than this is dangerous.
I find their relationship
it probably makes her extremely happy that she's taller than him.
Does it?
Probably. Like she probably likes that.
Oh man, I give him such a wide berth because he's such a big golf fan. So I
he's
feel
really
bad.
into golf.
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. People are literally talking about golf in the chat, in the chat right now. Like Tom Holland is also one of those people. Like you've got a choice, him or Timothy Chalamet, if you want to talk about American movie stars in the year 2023.
Tom Holland is British though.
I mean, but American films. Like if we're talking about
how do they make you feel?
What?
How do they make you feel? Like guys like that, Timothy Chalamet, like. Yeah, or like
no,
no, it's a no from me.
I also have a pack. Okay, it's called APAA, American Parts for American Actors. I'm sick and tired of Brits being cast as Americans.
F you, Tom Holland.
I was just watching. No, here's the funny thing. What was I? I was just watching something recent. I was rewatching something recently, and they were talking about the fact that. In the show, they had a hard time finding American actors because you're populated by British and Australian and New Zealand actors now who get a lot of those roles, right? Like that's the majority of it. It seems like that's where a majority of the roles go now.
Yes.
So you get, in a lot of ways, I think the internet contributes to this a lot. The fact that all accents are starting to sound homogenized. The internet's creating one lone American accent that's just vaguely Californian.
Yeah.
And every voice kind of sounds the same, right? Like if you watch the show House, the only time you can ever tell that Gregory House is British is when he says something like Sebastian, which is not how an American would say Sebastian.
Yeah.
It's just not how it would sound. But in general,
schedule.
Does he let that slip a couple times?
Or no, he says
aluminium.
He says bitch a couple times. He's like Beth. Like he there's some th in his bitch that is not that is not normal.
Right.
But Bad Kitty Mama says this is old. Yes, this is old, but it's still cringy. We're talking about
His
Tom
comment
Holland.
is new.
His comment is new. But let's go to the other cringe. I, for once, found one of the cringes today. This one is particularly bad. Yes, let's watch this. Here we go, guys. You can see it on the screen over there. All right, here we go.
That's my decision for your
I'm going to have to clip this later. I'm going to have to clip it out because the audio is going to get us copyright.
information.
He's smoking.
Bitch, I told you that I'm educated. Yeah, that's that monster, that's that problem, baby. But when you get it, it gon' drive you crazy.
His trigger discipline is scaring the crap out of me.
Bitch, I told you that I'm
Oh man,
That is fantastic. I hated it up until that part. What's the other thing? Cringe or what?
Oh,
cringe
cute of the day.
Cute of the day.
is
Cute of the
next.
day.
That's cute. I love that.
Well, the cute of the day is a newer edition. We just had cringe before.
Wait, that was cringe?
That was
This was our
cringe.
cringe.
No, that's fantastic.
That is cringe.
There's nothing
He's
cringe about
lucky
that.
he didn't point it in the wrong direction.
Like to his head.
Well, dude, like in that
or at
that's
somebody else's house.
like,
Where did he get that gun from? Like his grandfather? I mean, that's like an old
revolver?
six shooter.
brought it home from the Korean War. like it's just that was ridiculous. Let's cleanse the palate. Let's show some cute of the day, guys. If you own a firearm, don't listen to
Safety
rap.
first.
Don't listen to rap music and point it at your phone, and definitely keep your trigger outside of the trigger guard when you're singing along to rap music and moving it around. It's just
Or
not a
keep
good
it on
idea.
if it's unloaded. Just make sure if it's
Oh
unloaded
man,
first.
just oh boy. All right, so cute of the day. We got a couple here. This first one is from Tacty Platty. It says at popculture_show #PCC Pets. Here's our rescued bonded pair. The darker one is the boy, and the lighter one is the girl. The boy is extra cuddly, and the girl is to protect. Will delete once reviewed. So there they are. That is adorable. You can see them on that screen.
Fluffy.
Those are very pretty dogs right there. Look at that.
Cute.
That is adorable.
I like dogs.
The hair is amazing. Look at that hair.
Yeah,
Hair looks like it just went through the time machine.
incredible.
Adorable. And then we got one more here. This is from Mistress D. She says, "Endless cute of the day in my
Straight from
animal-filled
Jeffree
world.
Star's ranch.
One if you're ever in need. Here's Chewbacca, Al Pac-Man, and Buttons. Kid named that one. Having a WTF moment. Love these boys, even if Buttons spits on strangers. Well, we don't want that. Look at that. That is very cute.
Alpacas in person are a little scary.
Yep.
Because you can see their teeth.
Looks-
They bare their teeth at you.
In there, like looks like yeah. In
We
the-
need some yak.
Do I look like
cute
an
of the day.
alpaca?
No.
You do not.
No?
You do not.
I take my hat off.
Do you ever get told you look like anyone?
People have said, someone said James Vanderbeek recently. and I said, what?
I was before the show. because the hair in the thumbnail is brighter red. I thought Seth Green a little bit.
What the
but
fuck?
then now,
are we? Can we say that? Can I say that? What is wrong?
But
with you?
now I see some James Vanderbeek.
Okay.
I see some James Vanderbeek.
You are a ginger, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it.
I definitely see some James Vanderbeek there.
Okay.
Anything else?
Someone said Jake Gyllenhaal, but that was from really far away. So I'll take it.
You just take it. Just take it.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember recently. A lot of people say I have a very familiar face, but it's not anything to do with an actor or celebrity. They're just like, do I know you? No, you don't. Yeah.
You don't know me. You don't know my story.
Can I show my shirt? I wore actually a really cool T-shirt, but it's a little chilly. I run cold, but it's because of the anniversary of our boy Uncle Ted. It's Ted Kaczynski, but it says "Louder Than Bombs." It's the name of the Smiths album.
Nice.
Can you see it?
Yeah,
Well, they did have
I like it.
Plenty of write-ups over Kaczynski recently.
Yeah.
Given what happened, I didn't realize that was a sewer slide. I didn't realize that. Right?
Wait,
Wait,
what?
was it?
Wasn't it? What?
No, he died of cancer.
Was it?
Yeah, he told a fan in a letter that he was dying of cancer years ago. I mean, we can't verify that because they won't tell us, but he died of cancer.
A fan of the show wrote to me because I think I posted a picture of the shirt, and he said when I was in 9th grade, because Ted Kaczynski was housed in the prison in his county, he wrote a letter to Ted, got it back, but didn't find out until years later because his mom threw away the letter and said, "You're never seeing that." I was under the impression that he still had the letter and just saw it for the first time, but no, she threw it out.
Now it's in a landfill somewhere.
Right?
That sucks.
Yep.
So disappointing. Technology.
So you know what we should do? Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you and your career. Why don't you tell everyone that watches this show what it is you do?
Okay, well, I mean, more recently, I do have a podcast. It's called The New Nation. Am I able to say the link, or will YouTube even will YouTube take down the episode for me mentioning the link?
No.
Because you can't even do it on Instagram. You can't share the link.
I mean, that would be like if we actually put the link up, it might.
Okay, sure. It's on censored.tv.
Yeah.
I have a show called The New Nation. But my career-wise, I've been a freelance photographer for about 15 years, and I used to tour with pop stars. Some you'll definitely know, and other obscure artists you may not know, but I've been doing that.
Who would we know?
I toured with Justin Bieber for about 4 years. I've done Katy Perry. I've done who's that non-binary chick now that is
Demi Lovato.
Demi Lovato.
Well, she's not now.
I was gonna be like,
right. She's on and off.
Halsey? I don't know. There are so many to pick
A little
from
hot
now.
near cold with Katy Perry with Demi Lovato.
Demi Lovato just went back to her she/her pronouns because it was too much work to
not
do the
very
thing.
nice. I've had a lot
I
of
wanted
not
to
very
ask
nice.
Rudest and nicest celebrities that you've interacted with.
Okay, sure. Okay, so I used to work for Ralph Lauren as well, and I had plenty of celebrity interactions because I used to work for this brand called Double RL. It was a higher end. Bruce Springsteen, never liked his music. Surprisingly nice guy.
Okay.
Surprisingly nice. Big lib and all that.
Very big lib.
Tom York of Radiohead came in, wanted some boots, sold him some boots. But then as far as actors, I met John Voight at Candace Owens' wedding. So I have a picture of my wife and I with John Voight.
That's amazing.
So nice. And then
Did
Michael.
you ask him about Angelina?
No.
Should've
Didn't
asked
want to
him
bring
about
that up.
Angelina.
Might have been a touchy subject.
You think that is? It's got to be, right? Like,
I would assume so.
that would be hilarious. Like, so tell me about your really, really crazy liberal
Well, he probably
daughter.
never sees his grandkids.
Yeah.
That's sad, you know?
Yeah.
I bought dessert from Michael Caine once.
Michael Caine.
Michael, you're very kind. You're very kind. Thank you.
Do you remember what the dessert was?
It was a chocolate cake
Okay, I had that feeling.
and a dessert wine, I think.
I had a feeling it might be like a chocolate lava cake.
It was at the King Cole bar in New York. I was with some friends and I turned around because we were sat by the doors of the bar and there's a lobby where people could still eat and hang out. I turned around and I said, "Oh my God, that's Michael Caine, my cocaine." And I said, "He's eating dinner, guys, but I'm going to buy him dessert. So just let me know when you think he's done eating." So they did. And I said to the waiter, I said, "Listen, whatever this guy wants for dessert, pick a cake. Send it over to him.
Yep.
Don't even say who it's from." So while he's eating the dessert, I walk up to him. I said, "Mr. Caine, I'm a huge fan. I don't want to interrupt your dinner, but I just wanted to give you guys dessert." And he's like, "You're very kind. Thank you. That's very kind." And that was it. And he was probably one of the nicer people. But Johnny Depp, especially a lot of people with Justin, and Justin, he was always nice to me.
Yeah.
Were you ever like close with any of them?
With Justin, I was close.
Okay.
And
That's awesome.
I stopped working with him in 2014, so it was a lot before a lot of the scandal stuff. So
that's my favorite part about him, though. I love the fact that he had a very, very it's almost Americana in how normal it is to just go on some type of weird bender when you hit a certain age as a childhood stuff.
He had two scandals himself that I was there for. One was the peeing in the bucket saying Bill Clinton. That's Bill Clinton.
my
That was
favorite.
hilarious.
You saw this
I wasn't there when it happened.
Okay.
I think I was trailing off because we were doing an after show and going to a party after that.
Wait, why was he saying Bill Clinton? I didn't know.
Because there was a picture of Bill Clinton on the wall, and oh no, he didn't pee in a bucket. I think he just saw a picture of Bill Clinton and was like, F Bill Clinton.
No, but he did
Okay,
pee in a
but
mop
he
bucket.
Right,
that was
right.
a thing.
Yeah, right.
Based.
Yeah, and then
I love the idea that he's insulted by his saxophone abilities, and he's like, "How dare you play a saxophone on
Better than
Arsenio
me,
Hall?"
maybe.
Like that's a better story.
Yeah, the
Okay.
other one was the Anne Frank fiasco while we were in
Yeah.
Amsterdam. He said, and it was the most uncontroversial thing ever, and probably accurate. He said, if Anne Frank was 13 years old now, she probably would have been a believer.
And it's probably true.
It's probably true.
You know, like, yeah, props to him for.
I got in trouble once while on tour, and it was like slightly political. It was during the Newtown shooting. We had was it the Newtown one in Connecticut?
Yeah.
It was an off day. I was in Colorado, and I went to a gun range, and I posted some photos with me and the guns at the gun range, and then his management was like, "You got to take those down, man. The shooting just happened." And I said, "Absolutely not."
Yeah. But it is very normal. One of the funniest things you can do, guys, is go back and watch any TV show that you really, really like. And one of the things that's funny is a lot of times if an episode takes place right as some type of national tragedy happens, they'll make an announcement before the episode that says this episode is airing out of order because of this tragedy happened. A couple of those happened on a lot of network shows after Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
So I'll still see the thing where it says like this episode date was moved. Like they don't get rid
Were
of
there
it.
like Asians in that episode
Like
or something?
it's like in any of the shows. So like if they have a episode of a police procedural that takes place on a college campus and
Right,
something
right.
happens, it's considered sensitive, so therefore they move it to be sensitive to the families.
Ah.
And or
They
there's
don't
another
really
one.
do that anymore.
I mean, there's so many tragedies now that you have to
Yeah.
move stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But like there was one where there was a huge train derailment right as a TV show that I was watching did an episode about a train derailment.
Oh.
Derailment. Like imagine the odds on something
It's
like
all
that
planned,
happening.
man. Those numerologists are going nuts.
It's Alex Jones would have had a field day with that one, but like for that type of stuff, like he's not wrong. Like
No.
like that he's saying like take it down. They're trying. It's a business,
Right,
for
I
them,
understand
right?
that. Yeah, but also I'm the photographer. No one really cares. But his fans, and I would imagine like Taylor Swift fans, Miley Cyrus fans, Katy Perry fans, I would always say that they should be recruited by the CIA because they were able to find out where we were staying without any of us saying anything. It would be insane. Their moms would
Same with
contact me in the
BTS
hotel.
fans.
Oh, really? I don't doubt it.
BTS fans are the same way. Like if you ever got kidnapped, what you want to do is you want to insult BTS or Taylor Swift on your phone, and they will track you
They will
down
track
and
you
find
down.
you wherever you are.
That's smart. That's actually smart.
to be like, oh yeah, Jimin sucks. And
Do
then
you like stan culture as it is today?
No, because I don't think I liked it even when it was back then. Remember MTV had Fanatic. I don't know if you remember that show, if you're too young for it. Do you guys remember that show?
I remember that show.
Yeah. So Fanatic, what they would do is they would bring literal fanatics of, let's compare it to like a Jennifer Lopez back then, where they would meet these people, and these people were completely unhinged.
Yep.
Whoa.
It was,
should
It
bring this
encouraged.
back.
It encouraged the culture.
They wouldn't need to because, you really wouldn't see these people unless you went to a show. But now it's all on social media. These stands, as you say, they out themselves, they show themselves. And yes, meanest celebrity so far was probably Miley Cyrus. Not very nice.
Want to go into detail or no?
I was shooting backstage photos at one of the iHeartRadio music festivals in Vegas. And my job, I was tasked to do all the backstage work. And just say like Paul McCartney, Drake, Justin Timberlake, Robin Thicke, like all very nice. Elton John smiled at me. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Miley Cyrus told her security guard, get this guy away from me. And I'm like, I have all the badges on. I have all the accoutrements that are necessary for me to be working there.
Guy away from
And I was like,
me.
what a bitch.
Yeah.
What a
She just didn't like you. She got a bad vibe.
No. Bad vibe, I guess. I don't know what it was. Just a worker doing his job. She must have something against the working man. I
Yeah.
sympathize.
You worked with Justin, so did you know Scooter Braun?
Yeah.
Okay, so like I was just reading earlier today.
You want me to call him now?
I kind of like I
Yeah.
They talk
Live
about,
on air.
Talk about a dude who's built like a crazy empire off of like I was
And
just
is now
reading,
like widely hated, especially because of the Taylor
Swift stuff.
that's
yes.
I was reading
Which
about it earlier today.
She's okay.
And then Justin Bieber was kind of pitted against Taylor Swift.
Right, because they're
for
friends.
still working with Scooter
yeah.
Braun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. I had a situation arise with
But
Taylor
I was just
Swift.
I was just reading earlier today about stuff that's come out about how Taylor Swift's dad made like $15 million off the sale of her music rights
Yep.
to Scooter Braun,
Correct.
which launched out all of where the Taylor's versions of her songs come from,
Right.
which I didn't know about until like the reason for those was because the rights all got sold
Yeah.
to, and Scooter Braun's kind of a
I'm still
business
gonna listen to the
genius.
originals though. I don't care.
Scooter- no.
It's like listening to the original JoJo songs.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna listen to the re-records.
No.
Why would you?
Why would I?
Well, Taylor's father made her career, right? It was all funded by him, and this was millions of dollars,
She
right?
seems to really resent him too.
I don't know anything
From
about
her
their
documentary.
relationship. I kind of have gotten outside of that world now. I was in it for a good 4, 5, 6 years, and then now I do mostly commercial and documentary work. So I was at the White House in 2018, which was fun. I have a photo of Trump where he's leering at me. That's on the wall. And then a big photo of one of my heroes, Paul McCartney, is there. And that's all I need in life.
Did you see the thing earlier? No, I brought it up to you guys that I guess Trump, he dine and dashed that thing after he did the arraignment, and they said that he didn't pay the tab after he said he was going to buy lunch for everyone there. Some staffer got fired, I guarantee you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's probably a pretty reasonable reason about why that didn't get paid.
It's funnier if Trump just has like a weird thing about dine and dashing, like he's just really into it.
He just says it.
He can
He gets
pay
the
it.
thrill.
This is on me.
He mails the money later, but he just wants to feel the thrill of like he's like, yeah, it's the best. I get out of there. I don't have to pay. Like I want to see that. I want to see the.
That's
thing
what he said
where
about his taxes. I try to pay the least amount of tax. He did fly a kid to get medical care in his private plane once, though. So, I mean, there's a.
Do you think he pays for dinner at Mar-a-Lago?
No.
He definitely. I'm sure he tips people though. I'm sure he tips the staff.
I did see someone, I don't remember who it was, some celebrity said that the water at Mar-a-Lago is the worst bottled water they've ever had in
What?
their entire life. They said it's ass. Like, that's literally the words
Like Aquafina
Worse than
ass or
Dasani?
Worst,
Oh, yeah, Dasani.
nothing is worse than Dasani.
We've got one
Right.
from Scrappy. He said bacon and eggs.
Thank you for that, Scrappy. I don't know what
Okay.
you're referring to, but thank
To
you
me?
for that.
No
you just-
context needed.
No
Okay,
context.
bacon and eggs
Bacon and
on
eggs.
a bagel. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do the podcast now.
Yeah.
What do you cover mostly?
I cover mostly culture, though lately it's been diving deeply into Catholicism and just how Catholicism can relate to modern culture, but not so much politics because I don't want to.
Who wants to talk about politics?
Yes, it's overdone. Everything is parroted by everybody. Like I can take my political opinion from somebody else who takes it from somebody else, and it just goes on ad nauseum. So I do like to talk more about culture and about film specifically, and I'm starting to do that more on the show Uncensored. So if you like film, this guy has really great ideas about film and stuff like that. So
Yes, I am a fantastic judge of character when it
Yeah.
comes to movies. Take that, Chad. I see you
What's
guys.
on your business card? Multimedia
Curator or something like
curator.
I love that.
It's not my actual business card, but it was somebody's idea of what it could say.
But
like,
you do it every day, right?
Like, yes.
That's
well,
nice.
Like, because we talk about this stuff every day, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like we're getting back to reviewing more movies now, but a lot of it is like this podcast it's partially about the movies, but it's a lot about the celebrities that are working in the industry,
And
right?
social media stuff too.
I've enjoyed, like, now my favorite thing to do is just Google influencer and let the trash befall you. Just the stuff you read is just disgusting, and it's amazing. It's a lot of fun.
Does that one count because it's hanging out?
It does not count. That one does not come out.
Okay, good. Okay, I just wanted to know.
I swear this never happened before. So, what else? Do you got any big projects coming, or just the podcast has evolved? You said lately you had a name change.
Yeah, that. I mean, I still work freelance. I have a big job happening at the end of June and at the beginning of July, which involves some travel and an NBA athlete, which is nice. But
Is it Jay Morant? Are you going to talk about all those the gun waving that he's doing?
No, it's Jonathan Isaac who plays for the Orlando
Oh,
Magic.
okay, that makes sense.
But no, I really would like to put a little bit more effort into the podcast because I'm sure Mary knows, and if anybody who's watching right now has watched the podcast, I did put a lot of energy into it when I had a co-host and when we would have guests on constantly, but now it's just me, and I'm just trying to find the time to actually put a lot of effort into it to
Our
make it
episode
good.
is like the SpongeBob SquarePants lost episode.
Oh, it's so good though. It's so
bunch of
good.
cheap
The
walk
Discord chat has it, so they saw it and they approved it.
Yeah.
Unfortunate technical errors.
It is hard when it's just like one per, like it's very
That's what she
hard
said.
to do. That's exactly what she said, my
Yes.
friend. Yes. But it's like I was mentioning earlier, like I've done a couple of reviews lately that have been just on my own, and it's a lot more like work to try and coherently form thoughts and make a review of something on your own than
Yes.
it is to have a discussion with someone who saw the same project and then let the discussion grow organically.
Mm-hmm.
Like I find that to be more enjoyable, but at the same time you can't always do that. Sometimes
No.
that's not an option.
There's some great YouTubes though who are who post film theses. You know,
I love that.
I love those. They're an hour long. They go deep into the history. I watched
a lot of work goes into making those.
It has to. These guys put out videos maybe like 2 or 3 times a year, but they're so good. There's one about a movie called what was that cult where the people all drank the stuff?
Not Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah.
So there's a movie in the late 70s by Michael Caramino called Heaven's Gate, and they said at the time it was the biggest box office blunder up to that date. But Michael Caramino did The Deer Hunter a couple years before, and they were saying this movie was in sepia. It was like sepia tone. It was 3.5 hours long. There was a scene involving like a roller skating rink that just went on endlessly for like 12 minutes uninterrupted. And so I watched a deep dive into this movie. And it, the first part was 35 minutes. It's like a long 2-part series, but now it made me want to watch the movie. So that's how I've been finding a lot of these obscure movies from the 70s is through these film reviews. And if you can, there's a really great movie called, oh man, it escapes me now, but it's called like Doing Time or something like that with Dustin Hoffman in the 70s.
We had a YouTuber on recently named Kino Corner. That's the name of his channel.
Yes.
He's got a great channel. For
I feel like I'm
movies.
subscribed to him.
Yeah. So
you should
that's
have him
good
on the
stuff.
podcast.
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
If you want a podcast where you can just talk about movies, that's somebody you want to have on.
I would love that. And then the people in the comments would go, "Oh, who's this guy? Why is he talking about movies?" Nobody's happy.
That's you eventually have to learn to just like ignore it.
I do it for me, not for you.
All right, guys, let's get started then, shall we? First things first, I want to talk about Barbie versus Oppenheimer because I really do believe that if you'd asked me 5 years ago that a movie about Barbie would be possibly out-earning a Christopher Nolan epic at the box office, I would have told you were crazy. But you're apparently not crazy because right now it's looking as if Barbie is going to outpace it at the box office. Remember, both of these movies have the same budget. They're both about $100 million. That's crazy.
One is 3 hours long.
That is
one is less than 2 hours.
And I pointed out
on that basis alone, I am more excited to see Barbie.
I pointed out all the time. I said, if you can get me in and out of the theater in under 2 hours, you're already in my good graces.
Yeah.
Like I'm much more likely to give you a good review if you do not monopolize my time. And Barbie's doing that. I don't really have a desire to see Barbie. I'm very excited to see Oppenheimer, but I'm going to see Barbie just because it's such a culturally relevant thing right now. Because the social media campaign for it has been phenomenal. So
women are 51% of the population, right?
Yes.
So
no, wait, women are 51% of the population. Yeah, but you guys have you seen the WNBA? Women don't go and support things that women make.
Hilarious. I saw what the highest paid WNBA athlete makes, and then I saw the
Denver Nuggets
mascot
makes
almost three times.
Like, but granted, he's like the highest paid mascot in the entire industry. He makes like $650,000 a year. I follow an entire Instagram page just dedicated to mascots.
Mascots payroll, like preachers and sneakers.
Just them talking or just them like their antics at the games, because it really is a showmanship. It's an art form in its own way. Like they're performers, just like those strippers are. That we're going to talk about in the next segment. They're just maybe a slightly more dignified.
We talk theory about Barbies. Am I like running the show now? Okay. The reason why you did, there are a couple reasons. 51% of the population are women, right? So
plus the gays.
The gays. But how about not everybody who sees Barbie is going to want to see Oppenheimer, but there are a lot of people who will go from Oppenheimer to Barbie because you get like the really like hardcore Nolan nerds who might also be like Margot Robbie simps.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's the girls, the gays, and the simps.
Yes. You can never discount the simps.
Look, I really do believe, I don't know if people are going to want to go straight from a 3.5 hour movie to it's a 3 hour movie to another 2 hours at the theater, but they are vastly different markets.
Maybe you want to start with Barbie then.
No, I want to get the longer one out of the way first, the heavier one.
Yeah.
I want to get the one
Barbie
that's,
is your palate cleanser.
Yeah. Like
it's a ginger.
I'm looking to watch Oppenheimer blow me away with the special effects, and then I want to go to exactly. It's exactly what he said.
Should I stop doing that?
No.
Okay.
You're more than allowed to do that here.
I'm excited for it. I really want to see Oppenheimer.
Like
I'm excited for it.
there's some amazing like memes that have been made. It says like it shows like the Oppenheimer cameraman when Christopher Nolan does practical nuclear explosions, and the cameraman's just a skeleton, and all the meat has been like.
Is that from the Terminator 2?
Yeah. It's just like
Is that Wojak that has all of its skin peeled off?
Oh, really? I haven't seen that one.
In the chat, Andrina says, Brett, not everyone has your ADHD. Well, that's not my fault. That's I just can't help it. I sat through The Flash yesterday, and I was actually quite impressed, considering pacing issues were one of the things most of the people complained about with it. I didn't actually feel like the pacing was all that awful.
The Flash had pacing issues?
Amazing, right?
Right.
It's hard to believe.
Am I a boomer? Do I just not care about these Marvel movies? I was watching a video.
Well, this is a DC movie, but I get
Same thing.
Superhero movie.
Right, superhero movie. But there was a video on YouTube that was like audience reaction from whatever Guardians of the whatever when Captain America has the Thor hammer, and like people are crying and yelling, and I'm just like, it's
Guardians.
What
of the
is
whatever.
this?
Yeah, I don't understand crying at something.
Are we
as
boomers,
soulless as
maybe?
a Marvel movie
In a way?
It's not a boomer take.
No.
But the movies are made for millennials and maybe Gen Xers
who grew up reading
nostalgia.
comics.
True, yeah.
And then you mix with that the people that have now invested 10 years of watching these movies into their lives, like, and then you get they're thinking all the way back to Avengers 2 when they all try to lift the hammer and none of them can lift the hammer but
Gotcha.
Thor. So it's a large payoff, basically.
We're all different. I cry at A Hidden Life. You cry at Guardians of is it Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the whatever.
Which one is
You
it
can
with
call
the
it
hammer thing?
That's what do you mean?
The Avengers.
Yeah,
Right.
that's,
Okay.
I didn't cry, but I got a little bit emotional at the end of Maverick, at the end of Top Gun Maverick, just because it's been
Me
that
too.
long since I had seen that well made of a.
I didn't cry. I thought it was awesome.
It was all. I didn't say cried. I said I got emotional.
Okay.
I could have cried if I really let it out.
Mary's like, if
You
I
could've?
if I was
did tear
capable-
up at Maverick.
I'll tell
I
you
teared
this.
up at Father's 2 as well.
I'll tell you this. Like when I'm watching it, and I'm like,
I didn't like it.
look at the straight guy who actually gets the girl and gets to literally ride off into the sunset. When was the last time you saw that happen in a movie? Very long time ago. Not common.
And Jennifer Connelly too.
Smoking hot still.
Wow.
Everyone should go watch Dark City this weekend. If you've not seen Dark City, go watch Dark City. Or if you
We've
don't have
got,
time,
Hard
Superchat
Water
from
or whatever that
Plaz.
one. Red Water.
Plaz said, groups of dude bros just walking into Barbie sporting their new Ryan Gosling personality gonna nuke Oppenheimer out of the water.
it's possible that we could get a lot of there's been a lot of the memes. It's like
Sigma
a picture
Barbie.
of
Is
the
Barbie going to be a literally me film?
It's pictures of like the Suicide Squad all looking real tough. It says like 7 for Barbie, please. Me and the bros going to get our tickets for Barbie. Like that's totally what this could end up being, right?
I love doing things for memes.
I also think that this is one of those things that we're coming up on the ADHD issue here in America, which is that people, it's not just me, and I understand that it's not everyone, but phones have drastically shortened the average person's attention span. And somebody hears 3 hours and they're like, ugh. And we're now part of a generation of kids who weren't even alive when 9/11 happened, let alone care about
what?
Oppenheimer.
Were you?
Oh, what is I alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
was a year
Were you?
old.
Yes, I'm 36. So
Oh, okay, nice.
I was in
Cool.
junior
Obviously,
high.
I
Okay,
don't
great.
remember.
Well, no, you.
But I'm saying like the newer generation just might not feel the need to want to go and watch some type of historical epic. You're kind of relying heavily on Nolan's name in a lot of respect. Like if this movie had been made by someone else, I don't know if it even I don't know if it even comes close to Barbie.
Yeah.
I think Barbie knocks it out of the water. The only reason they'll end up being close at the box office will be because Christopher Nolan has such a big name.
I don't know how much people pay attention to what they're about to watch. I don't think people look into the details of like who directed something or how long is it going to be. I think
You think they don't
most
look at
of
the
them are
length?
just kind of
I mean, we. That's what you said.
consumers.
But also, I mean, we do. People like us do. I think like the
People
average
like us,
person probably,
sure.
probably doesn't.
don't
Which
think-
leads to my theory that I think like you said, kids aren't going to be going to these types of movies for much longer. At least that's what you posit. I don't think orchestral music is going to last. I don't think horse racing is going to last. Like there are some things that aren't going to last because, as Gen Z gets into childbearing years, they're not going to teach. They're not going to expose their kids
because rich snobby people will still go because their parents raised them to go.
Yeah, but you have to think about Gen Z, rich
I don't
snobby
know.
people. Are they going to like going to like concerts
They're
of
like-
Brahms and
they're
stuff
like-
like that? Like, are they
I
going
don't
to?
think so.
I don't think so either. We
Yeah,
need
you make
we
a
need
good point.
We need a good sort of degenerate culture, and around like there's stuff like like the drag queen stuff, degenerate and horrible, but horse racing, that's like degenerate and good. You know what I mean?
Why is that degenerate?
Because it's gambling. It's around being around people who are probably not the best sort of role models. My uncle used to take me to the track. My dad used to because he used to train racehorses. In a couple of generations, I don't think that's going to exist anymore. And it's just a fun pastime for Americans. You go to the track, go to the OTB.
Yeah.
See a lot of people, a lot of sad people at the OTB.
Yeah.
Anything else you think is going to die when Gen Z becomes the older generation?
Tennis,
Tennis?
No.
golf. I think it will do pretty well still.
Golf will be fine.
I think golf will be fine. What else?
The iPad babies are not cut out to pay attention to these things.
It's kind of a bummer because they seem to be paying attention to the iPad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So-
they'll play Wii golf, but they won't play actual golf.
It's gonna be a Wall-E. It's gonna be a Wall-E
We've
world.
got one from Deuce Boogaloo who said, well, I was going to see Oppenheimer until you just told me it was 3 hours long. I'm so done with these eternity-length films. If your film is longer than 135 minutes, it should be a mini-series. I have a life to live.
See, that's
But
what
you're
I'm
just,
saying.
but then you have to devote more of your time to a miniseries where you could just devote 2.5 hours once to a good movie. Godfather, wasn't The Dark Knight a really long movie?
The Dark Knight wasn't 2.5 hours maybe. If 2 hours and 40 minutes, like 2 hours and 40 minutes on the outset is fine if it's really
How long was
crafted.
2001?
We can look it up.
Can you look that up? Because I went to go see that. They re-released it for maybe the 50th anniversary. I saw it with my dad, and I know that movie's super long. It just didn't feel, because at least with nostalgia stuff, it doesn't seem like it's as long as it is.
Or
right?
like what was it like there's a lot of those movies from that generation that were a lot longer because
Yeah.
people had longer attention
The Deer
spans.
Hunter
Yeah.
was definitely longer than 2.5 hours. That whole first wedding sequence was like 25-30 minutes.
How long is Gone with the Wind? Like 4?
What's that movie about?
It's about women being women.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking about The Sound of Music. Sorry, but yeah, Gone with the Wind, super long. I've only seen that
it's
once.
about like the abjection of female
2001 is
existence.
2 hours and 30 minutes.
So not terrible. Like
2
a lot
hours,
of it-
like The Flash was about 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah. It also depends on the subject matter. Like Barry Lyndon is very long and very tough to watch just because of its atmosphere. It's all naturally lit. Nothing really exciting's going on. Yeah. But a movie like The Dark Knight, I could sit there and watch 5 hours of it.
Yeah. Well, like for me, I just feel like a lot of times when movies get over that 2 hour and 30 minute mark, the third act starts to feel tacked on if it's not done really, really well. Heat. No, here's the thing. I rewatched it recently.
Same.
When I was younger, it felt tacked on.
Right.
Older, more astute in what I'm watching, it doesn't feel tacked on. If anything,
You're
it feels
pulled
like
in.
You're
You're in
pulled
it.
in by that point.
Yeah.
I brought that up on this podcast where I mentioned, I said, like, look, that third act where they're chasing down Macaulay always felt tacked on to me. Now it doesn't.
That shootout can go on forever.
Because when you're young, the bank robbery feels like that's where the film would end.
Right,
But
right,
that's
right.
just not the truth of the matter here. It's also probably one of the best bits as far as sound design.
Yes.
In film.
Well, they did
the
record the actual guns that they did use. Yeah.
Yep. That's a masterpiece.
I love being nerds about that.
Yeah. And then rewatching it now, because if you actually take into account the themes of the movie or the relationships between the characters, like you need to see Wayne Grow get his. You
Right.
need to see the banker, the money manager guy get his.
Yes.
You need to see William Fichtner. Fun fact, he's in The Dark Knight because he was in Heat and they wanted that original bank scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it evokes the feeling of Heat in that initial bank scene.
Where's Rain Grow? I don't know.
Exactly. Like he just doesn't look like a guy who'd be watching hockey either.
No.
Like, he doesn't look like a hockey guy to me. Like,
Here's maybe a question that I can ask the two of you guys. Okay, so for the New Nation, I do intros for every episode where I take parts of different movies, and a lot of them are literally me type parts of movies, Ryan Gosling. But I was going to do an episode on either Monday and Tuesday and talk about Father's Day. So I wanted some good movies with fathers. Like what? And I've had some. Can you guys think of any good movies that have to do with a really good,
what's the one with
sturdy
Will
father
Smith?
character?
With Will Smith.
Yes, sure. The Pursuit of Happiness. That's a good one. I'll add that. I put John Q in there.
Yeah.
We praised Avatar: Way of Water actually for showing a strong father figure.
Really?
And a strong family unit.
I'd have to. I'd
Even
need
though
more
it's
time.
what I believe to be like an anti-human film because the family isn't human.
Do you want the list? I have a list of a couple.
Go for it.
Okay, so we got The Greatest Game Ever Played. I don't know if you saw that one. Another Shia LaBeouf golf movie. Armageddon.
Yeah, oh yeah. Dad is. I mean, granted, the stuff with basically him and Affleck, it's a little weird.
Okay. Man on Fire. It's not necessary. It doesn't have to be an actual father, but a father figure.
Oh, so Denzel Man's in
yes.
Man on Fire? Like, that's another one. Nobody cares when it's a race swap if it's Denzel Washington.
I don't.
Everybody loves Denzel
He could
Washington.
be James Bond for all I care.
There you go.
Taken. Superman, the one with Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
I love that one scene. It's nonsensical where he gives his life. Yes, where he gives his life up for his son. Hey, no one can know that he's Superman, so I'm just going to kill myself. No Time to Die.
Yes.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
James Bond having a daughter.
I would agree. What was the one you said before that? Taken's a funny one
Yes.
to mention because that's the trope now. It's
But it is a father going to any length to protect his daughter.
Yeah.
They tried to basically remake that with Jennifer Lopez.
I announced in the chat earlier that I was excited to scare him.
Was the reaction worth it?
Yes.
What is that?
That is that's
first
a crisis party.
Yeah, so you saw Mother with Jennifer Lopez, or is it The Mother?
The Mother.
The Mother with Jennifer
Yeah.
Lopez,
It's
where
awful.
it tries
Mother
to do
with
it
Jennifer
like a
Lawrence was great. I liked
Taken
it.
trope, but with
Yes.
a mother instead of a father, and
I watched
wasn't
20
good.
minutes of it, turned it off.
It's
Yeah.
awful. It's awful. It's nowhere near as good as Peppermint.
Can I ask you? Oh, that was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
How do these movies get the money? Is it just people who are saying, I'm incredibly rich, I want to
Money
get
laundering.
Jennifer Lawrence? Oh, yeah, that too. Or Jennifer Lopez in a movie. There are a lot of horrible movies that get made.
But that movie was very clearly a vehicle for Jennifer Lopez. Like, that movie got made
To do what?
Because she's in it.
To make her a star? Like,
But I'm saying that it's made because she's in it. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't get made without her.
how do you attach Jennifer Lopez to a script? You give her what, $5 million?
Exactly. Yep.
I hate the way this society has evolved.
All right. So, in what order are you going to see them? Are you going to see Barbie first, or are you going to see Oppenheimer first? I personally would rather see Oppenheimer first and get it over with, and then let the emotional cool down happen while watching Barbie.
So not in the same
Are we
day.
gonna do the thing where like one of us goes into the other one? I
then-
go into.
Well,
Like, you go into
I'm probably going to
Oppenheimer.
see them on different days. I'm probably going to see Oppenheimer on Thursday, and then I'll see Barbie on Friday.
You don't want to do a double feature?
Do it.
I don't really want to do a double
don't-
feature. I want to see them
You just
both.
don't have
in-
the guts.
I don't have the gumption.
I could
to
do it.
So.
I did
done
a
that
triple
before.
once.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
I can't remember the third. I remember it was Rookie of the Year, Indian in the Closet.
Indian in the Cupboard.
Indian in the Cupboard.
I still have the VHS with the
Yes,
the key.
with the key.
and the,
Yeah, and I don't remember the third one.
that's amazing.
I think those were the two movies. They had to have come out around the same time.
Rookie of the Year's a masterpiece too. Though I'm partial to Little Big League.
Yeah. See, well, was that the Cincinnati Reds?
No,
Little
that was
Big
the
League?
Minnesota Twins, and I'm from
Right.
Minnesota.
Right.
so,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
you have
Rookie of
to-
the Year was the go. Everyone wanted to be that kid.
Yep.
We all tried to break each other's arms.
He's
just
in,
for that.
so that you could magically have the arm that heals and
Yes.
throws the fastball.
Kids are so stupid.
They are.
Like that would never happen.
My other favorite part of that movie is like they when the last batter comes up and it's the guy who always hit homers off him, they act like they don't know that he's up next. As
Yeah.
a manager wouldn't know who the next batter on deck was.
Not only that, I mean, Moneyballs can't be made all the time. I get that.
Yeah.
But do you really cast Gary Busey
Yes!
as a Major League Baseball pitcher without watching him or doing a screen test showing him throw a baseball?
That was
Or they just like, kids are pretty dumb. They're not going to care.
exactly.
Okay.
Daniel Stern directed that. The guy who plays Briggs.
That makes sense. Okay, yeah, okay.
He
Gotcha.
directed that movie.
Marv.
Exactly. From the
Home Alones.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, we will see what wins, but we'll keep our eye on Barbie. Mary, do we have some super chats
Yes.
there?
Shane H. Wilder said, stealth watching at the day job. Just wanted to say happy feast of the Sacred Heart.
Yes.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Christ, Sacred
Okay.
Heart. Yeah.
Okay.
Rascal King said, the Rascal King was leaving a strip club in Guam when a cab driver, in the process of stealing his phone, ran over his foot and leg, breaking 4 bones.
What?
Ran over your foot and leg? Wow.
That sucks. I hope we had the buffet before.
Tacti Plati said, be wary of Big Avocado and their nefarious agenda.
They're probably the ones who sponsored most of the nefarious agendas today. Like, I imagine that maybe the WEF is actually just a front for Big Avocado. That's what I think it is.
Definitely.
Let's do one more, and then we will move on.
Perturbed Alpaca said, keep your booger picker straight and off the trigger until you are prepared to fire.
Yeah, the kid definitely did not know basic gun safety. Right?
Well, can we quote Black Hawk Down?
Yes.
Sir, that's a hot weapon. You better be careful. He's like, this is my safety, sir.
He just didn't do it. He should have been paying closer attention. He should watch
That's what he
more. He should watch more GunTube. Then he'd be.
Delta or no Delta, that's a hot weapon.
All right, guys, let's move on. Let's talk about unionized strippers, shall we? Look at that. He's got he looks like he could have just been given 20 to a couple of unionized strippers right there.
Yeah.
Not to say I haven't.
So the writer's strike is still going on, and they have sent out the strippers to entertain the writers while on writer's strike.
Strippers who are in the Actors Equity Union, which
Yes.
I didn't know about. This is for live performers. And they also had people from the Theater Performing Union, so Broadway people. So just picture someone singing a Broadway song on a megaphone while in broad daylight a person swings around on a stripper pole in front of the Warner Brothers studios in LA. It's
Fantastic.
beyond cringe.
I always take the side of who is not the union.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Even if it's big Hollywood at this point, I'll take them.
Yeah, because the aesthetics, you can't argue with that. Like,
No.
they look pathetic.
They do look pathetic.
And we don't just have them threatening to strike. I mean, they're already on strike, but now we've got the actors are threatening to strike.
Oh,
Are
my
the-
goodness.
Are the
I mean,
strippers
look,
going to come out for that?
How will I
You said
cope?
a looming SAG-AFTRA strike, and I'm like, I've said this before, but like actors
Great.
are so desperate, they are not going to have a picket line. They would take a porno before having a picket line.
So there's a bunch of people talking about it. So the dual union member Reagan, I read that as Reagan the first time, and I'm picturing like John, like was Ronald Reagan big in the unions? Ronald Reagan wasn't big in the unions. Was he? I have no idea.
I don't know.
No,
So
I'd probably say he wasn't.
mentioned the clip in Lilith, who doubles as a WGA strike captain. She told the Deadline that she and the other members of Equity Strippers NoHo, I don't know what that means. by
North
the way.
Hollywood.
North Hollywood wanted to come out in solidarity, bring a little of our party that we had on our picket lines, and lift morale. Like, this would be the opposite of morale lifting to
The
me.
strippers are also not hot.
That's a
so
problem. We have a $20 one from Jacob Edler.
He said, someone better check those strippers' IDs. You never know in Hollywood.
That is absolutely true. So let's show. Which one did we want to show?
There's the photo, or no, the video when she's like got the megaphone and she's singing
Yes. Okay. So we've got this
karaoke
one.
while the stripper is on the pole.
Let's do that one here, guys. I'm gonna put it on screen here. So if for your virgin eyes, this could have doubled as cringe of the day.
You may
very
need
easily.
eye bleach after this.
Very easily.
They're so proud of that skill. Like, imagine.
I wanted the pole to fall down so badly.
You can only hope. So many people find ways to ruin good music.
People are just like ChatGPT. Get rid of the writers.
And then there's also this video in the Deadline article of them explaining why they decided to strike with Writers Guild.
That's what I'm wondering though. But like, why are they striking in the first place? Is it the same old tired low wages? We do so much work.
They're also worried
What are
about
the strippers gonna do about their wages? They're not paid by the hour.
Yeah, and like is the establishment that they work for part of it? Because am I supposed to actually believe that they're reporting all the income that comes in? I don't know if I believe that. Let's watch this one. That was the one in the Deadline Hollywood tweet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm Halo.
Hi, I'm Reagan. I'm Char.
Oh, it is Reagan. It's like a Reagan.
We are the Equity Strippers NoHo. Yay!
Maybe they're not real strippers.
I think they are.
The equity strippers?
They are.
One of our members is a member of the WGA as well as a member of our newly formed stripper union, which is the first of its kind in this century and only the second ever to form in the U.S.
There was an episode of the show Las Vegas where they had a strippers unionized, and it was done in a way that felt like parody, and this was just 20 years ago. Less than that.
Now we're beyond parody.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here because because I love film, and a lot of my friends work in the film industry.
I bet they do.
What kind of films?
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here because on our picket line we had so much support from members of IATSE and WGA and other unions, so it's been amazing to be able to pay it forward.
They probably
and
get
bring the
paid
fun
more
to
than the
our
writers.
Yeah.
They make more money than the writers.
And maybe they're more dignified.
But I am also a multi-talented performer. I've been in music videos and on TV.
Oh,
so
she's
the
a
writers are the
Video
ones
vixen.
that
Yeah.
so that we have jobs, and so I want to support that as somebody that also works in.
I'm happy to be here because of one, I definitely want to be a voice and advocate for people.
Wait, that's a dude?
Yeah.
Oh, that is a dude. Sorry, I was.
And also the queer community as well. So I think it was very, very important, to see someone who is, who looks just like me, and so that you your voices are heard, your voices are being listened
I hate
to,
that.
and we have to do what's right.
I hate it. The whole looks like me
Okay.
thing I've
One
always
tweet
hated.
said, the sidewalk outside every studio is going to look like the gathering of the Juggalos by July, and I can't
Amazing.
wait.
There's a $20 super chat there from Honest Adams Discount Warehouse.
Does this guy work for the G-Dog? Where is Asian Pat Dixon?
I don't work for Gavin. I have a show on his network.
Okay.
So what you need to do is you need to go strike outside of the outside of the offices and say, look, I want fair wages and representation. And to be honest,
For podcasters.
to be honest, as a redhead,
probably
Podcaster
could.
union.
as a redhead, you might have more claim to a desire for representation in Hollywood than anyone
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
White
I mean,
straight male
who do we
and
have?
a ginger.
Who do we have?
Not really anyone.
I've never seen anyone that looks like me. And the
Sheeran?
first time. No, that's music though.
Okay.
And it's trash.
There's guys, who are the redheads that are working in the industry right now?
Oh, Damian Lewis. Billions. Band of Brothers.
He always feels like a blonde to me. He
Okay.
is a redhead, but you're right.
Strawberry blonde.
Brendan Gleeson.
Okay.
About Time, fantastic film.
There's a
And in
couple
Mother.
of them, but there's not.
Yeah, there's not too many.
Now I'm thinking like who are all the Irish people in movies? I've seen plenty of Irish people in movies. There are some.
Yeah, I
but,
think spastics have more representation in film in Hollywood than redheads
you can't
do.
say that anymore. You're not supposed to say.
Whoa.
You're not supposed to say that one.
Oh no, really?
According to Lizzo, you're not supposed to say.
Well,
that
I was
one.
just thinking of that
And
doctor
Beyonce.
who has autism.
Amy Adams. Amy Adams
yeah.
is a redhead.
Female.
She
Where are
gets
the
it.
white straight male gingers in Hollywood?
Also,
Chris Pratt's not ginger, right?
No.
No, okay.
Here's
all right.
David Caruso. Here's a fun fact: the
Jade.
show, The Mentalist, had a redhead in the cast, and because the serial killer in the show's name is Red John, every episode contained a redhead.
Oh.
So they got Hollywood got all their redheaded representation in one series, and then just left everybody
Called it
else.
I'm thinking of a redhead holding an Oscar man.
Bryce
Straight
Dallas
white.
Howard.
Straight white.
Bryce Dallas
Bryce
Howard.
Dallas Howard.
These are all
Karen
female.
Nepo baby.
Karen Gillan.
Someone said Carrot Top. Yeah, sure.
There you go.
Seth Green. I get it. Isla
Have you
Fisher.
been bullied for being a ginger?
No.
No.
When I was in high school, I was bullied for being short, but it came from a guy
Christina
who was
Hendricks.
cross-eyed, so I had ammo
Easy
for
ammunition.
him. Yeah.
Christina Hendricks. Oof. Good call.
Where are all the men?
What a dish.
Good call.
Where are the male gingers?
There's a couple of them that I can't think of them off the top of my head. That's I feel like I'm letting everyone down now, given this. I'm usually the one who remembers all the actor names. But you're right about Damian Lewis.
Another reaction. Said,
Also, again, breaking pack rules. British gentleman who's playing an American.
Yep. Dana Scully. So Gillian Anderson is technically a redhead.
Who I wrote to her once.
This tweet said,
Did
quite
you?
literally
I got a letter
everyone except Nazi freaks and their softcore bigoted allies has something material to add to movements. And those people trying to water this down in an attempt to make it more palatable to the average Joe are absolutely your enemy.
I love the hyperbole.
Why is the average Joe the enemy of unions?
I love the
Isn't
hyperbole.
he
Isn't he the man who
quintessential
comprises the
the
unions?
union worker? They're like, we don't want to be palatable to the average worker.
So in Nashville, there's a strike going on from baristas, like
Oh.
coffee shop workers.
Why?
Because they've accepted jobs with lower wages, all by their own, free, volition or whatever it is, and they're complaining that the wages don't.
Just work for the man at Starbucks.
Well, not even that.
They pay well.
Pick
and
a
have
different
amazing
job
benefits.
that goes with your skills.
Starbucks
I'm sorry.
will literally pay your college tuition.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Now I don't tip now. When they turn the iPad, I don't tip. I look at them, I don't
The
tip.
iPad tipping is so egregious.
For what?
Maybe that's why Trump didn't pay. Maybe they were like
They spun the iPad on him.
spun the iPad around.
He was like,
He's
no.
I'm not doing it.
Not anymore.
No.
They do that at Crumble.
They do it everywhere. I just
everywhere
got it
now.
at the freaking coffee place in the airport.
Weird.
They turned the thing. I said, no, I'm not doing that.
Ooh, Cameron Monaghan from Gotham. Yeah, the kid who played the TV version of the Joker. He wasn't actually the
Michael
Joker.
C. Hall.
Yes. But then was Deborah? Was Jennifer Carpenter a redhead?
Jennifer Carpenter.
That's his sister in the but they're not biological.
No, well, I don't think. Wait, aren't they like married in real life?
They
or no?
they were, but they got divorced soon after.
Oh.
Yeah, they were brother and sister in the show and then married in real life.
Okay.
Look, it's really weird that we live in an age now where they want to make unions not palatable for the average Joe. You're not allowed to be the average Joe.
Protesting and activism in general is so cringe now.
It is. It's why I like making fun of PETA, because like they at least embrace the cringe, but also they somehow feel like in a lot of ways, like like in an age where activism is super popular. Did you see that another painting got covered in
tomato sauce
or something? Like in an age where activism's like all the rage, somehow PETA can't get its foot in the door again. Like they're just not cool.
I
Nobody
still
likes
shop at
that.
Target. I don't care.
What happened to celebrities going like anti-fur?
Yeah, well, that's like nobody does it anymore because nobody cares.
Nobody does it anymore.
No, no. One of the Jenners got in trouble for wearing a faux fur that she didn't like give them a fair warning about. She's like, it's not real.
What if it were animals who were more of a nuisance, like possum fur or something like that?
How
could you hate it?
Is skunk fur really all that bad?
Right.
Like, you hate skunks, don't you?
Raccoon fur is where I kind of draw the line. Like they're cute. They use their hands like we do.
There's a $20 one there from John Andrew.
Just a sticker, but thank you.
But it says goal on
Yeah.
here. It says goal. But also, look, somebody says both April O'Neils. Judith Hogue was definitely a redhead. Paige Turco, hubba hubba. I do not believe she is a redhead. I believe she is a brunette.
Okay.
So, and by the way, Paige Turco is the better April O'Neil. I don't care what anyone says.
You and your April O'Neils.
Hey, the chat brought it up, not me. Oh, somebody says Seth Green, duh, because I mentioned Seth Green earlier.
I don't look anything like him. Let's be.
Isn't
I mean,
he,
should
like-
I take?
No.
Not even with my hair, right?
Maybe
No.
more CM Punk than Seth Green.
Thank you.
Isn't he like a bad person?
CM Punk?
Seth Green.
Seth Green.
You might be mixing him up with Danny Masterson.
Oh,
Yeah.
is he a ginger?
No, just probably a bad person.
He's just a Scientologist and a bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I just look at this
Oh
and I'm
no!
like,
Someone said this is actually really what Marx was talking about the entire time. Workers of the world, no matter your trade, unite. Heart emoji.
oh man,
Yeah. Would Marx endorse this?
I
Not
don't
so
Probably.
Sure.
I don't know if I believe that a bunch of like unattractive strippers showing up would raise morale. Like you had to bring the 9 p.m. to noon strippers and not the 9 p.m.
right.
the 9 a.m.
The lunch strippers.
You brought the lunch strippers, not the prime shift strippers. That just tells me that you don't have any confidence in what you're
They
pushing.
brought the pasty strippers in New York, on Long Island, specifically where I grew up. There were rules around if strip clubs had alcohol. So if they had alcohol, they either couldn't be, partially nude or they had to wear pasties.
Yeah.
I had one really good.
Or like
stripper
there was a
story.
difference in California between strip club and bikini bar.
burlesque bar or something like that.
You're allowed to serve alcohol.
Jumbos.
You're allowed to serve alcohol at the bikini bar, but not at the strip
Depends
club.
on the state, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So
Like it's just.
We went to Wiggles in Queens. It was fully nude but no alcohol. And it was my friends took me there for my birthday. I think it was either 19 or 20 because no alcohol. You can go there younger. And I heard the DJ say, "Is there a mic in the house tonight?" And I said, "That's me. Oh my God." And they brought me up. They sat me down in this chair, and these two strippers, fully nude, just doing everything in front of me. They stood me up. They gave me a wedgie, broke my underwear, and poured ice down my pants. And I was thoroughly humiliated. I had to pick
That was
ice cubes out of my
planned?
butt in the movie. Not by my knowledge.
I like.
Yes.
like your friends, maybe.
Yes, my friends did plan that.
It's if that was done on social media, it would have been one of those ones where then it cuts to a screen that says "new kink unlocked."
Real. And I believe they were ethnic strippers too. So who knows how that would have played. today.
Strip clubs are so weird to me. Like, it seems a little gay. I'm just gonna like sit around with a bunch of other dudes and get turned on.
That's a meme too. It's like, you know, it's like, hey, let's go. Want to go to a bar and get boners together?
It's weird.
But it was a part of a cultural time in culture where it was hyper masculine in the way it was perceived, and like think all the finance bros who go to strip clubs after work. Yeah. It's part of the culture, right?
Someone said this is too gross to do in New York City. I've seen what filth goes on to subway rails. That is how you catch super COVID.
Well, it was in Queens, which is
so
worse.
That's how long COVID got here. I didn't know that.
A lot of pink eye.
Oh, Amanda Rigetti was the name of the actress I was trying to think of from The Mentalist. She's very pretty. Look, I don't know if the lunch strippers are really the best way to raise morale for your cause.
You gotta get the evening shift.
Gotta get
the Vegas ones.
They don't unionize though.
Because they're making too much money.
They're making too much money.
Don't make any money that are unionizing.
That's exactly right. That's why the $9 barista will unionize.
What do you call the ugly stripper? Creative.
You have to. Good one.
Look, I just like the stripper at night's just like, look, I don't want to freaking like I'm making my money. Like I don't need to do this. Like why would I want to?
Strip clubs are gross. Don't go to them. I had a very weird past.
Yeah.
That story was that.
Anything else you want to unveil from your past?
That's one. No, I don't, because there's a story in Spain. I don't want to get into it. My wife knows, but
look, it's just it's not helping the writers' cause because people are already looking at the writers like they're whiners. The Directors Guild signed a new deal instantly. They said they had reasonable demands. The demands were met. They got what they wanted in their bargaining agreement, and the writers are still over here like, man, didn't you like it when I wrote that crappy Star Wars show on Disney Plus? And everyone's like, no, I didn't like that crappy Star Wars show you wrote on Disney Plus. Well, you should pay me more money. Not to mention, half the time when we're doing this job, I'm talking about all of these companies that are constantly losing money. Why would they want to pay you more when they're constantly losing money? It makes no sense.
It's almost like there are people who understand business. And there are people who don't.
Well, the writers are also not the ones who lose out when a show does badly.
Right.
They're still proud of themselves for their work, even if it didn't make money.
Well,
it's the studios that lose the money.
Yes. Well, trivia time. There was an Oscar-winning movie that actually came out of the writer's strike where a writer, what do you call it when you leave a place? I guess he left the WGA, wrote a screenplay for the movie 12 Years a Slave, which won the screenplay which won an Oscar for Best Screenplay, won an Oscar for Best Film of that year, but he wasn't nominated for a WGA award in screenwriting. Yep. Why is that? It's because he left the WGA.
There was, if you want an idea of how they look at the industry, these were some of my favorite of the replies on the thing. Here they are on screen. This is it says predatory American capitalism, and it's all the wolves eating the typical American, which is of course the lamb, and then it says rent, healthcare, childcare, student loan, credit card, energy, tax. Well, I agree with you on the tax. We should get rid of the taxes.
I agree with a lot of that.
If you want to not get the student loans, you shouldn't take out the student loans. You should maybe not have a credit card and not spend above your income level. Yep. Rent. I love my favorite thing to come out of modern day America is the hatred for landlords, which is it's reached cartoonish levels of like now when they see a landlord, they literally see Mr. Burns.
Yeah, they think of slumlords and stuff like that.
They think of Mr. Burns, and then below that we have wages, and then prices, and then profits. There's no profits because they're laying people off. They're not making. Nobody gets into these businesses. It's like when they talk about. I don't remember if it was Doctor Strange, but one of these Marvel movies, like it made money, and it made like $5. I don't know if it's Doctor Strange, so don't at me, bro, if that's not the movie. But it's like they make like $5 million. I'm like, nobody spends $400 million in hopes of making $5 million. That's patently insane. Yeah. Like you don't understand, and I don't understand business that well, but I understand business well enough to understand that they don't go into this and risk obscene amounts of financial loss just to make a couple of extra pennies to rub together.
Yeah, Marvel isn't into making passion projects.
No. Well, I mean, Marvel is kind of...
Do you think that writers should make more if the show does well?
Well, that's the thing. Like,
and less if it doesn't?
They should bet on themselves and say, it's kind of like the actors. There was a story not that long ago about one of the voice actors on the original Lion King, the the animated Lion King. They offered the dude $10 million. Dude says, no, I'll take the smaller amount, which was in the hundreds of thousands, but not millions range, and took the residuals. That dude is worth millions upon millions upon millions of dollars now
More than
because he bet on himself and he took the riskier option.
And he saw the track record of Disney movies at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Smart kid.
It's crazy to me. Like when they see this stuff, I'm like, look, and there is a handicap here in that they're doing these things on streaming where the residuals are bad, but you're also not punished if you don't do good work. Because the show's done. You're on to the next project. If you wanted to do good work on a network television show or a cable show that's going on for extended seasons, you had to prove that your work was consistent.
Right.
They don't have that risk anymore. So I just find them all to be whiners, and I'm happy they got stuck with lunch strippers. There, I said it. I'm tired of is that funny? Yes, it's funny, and I'm tired of pretending it's not.
Yes. They're listen, I have my own gripes with capitalism. This ain't one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your gripes with capitalism?
Well, I do feel that a lot of it now today revolves around greed and revolves around, people just basically abandoning all types of morality in order to turn profit and possibly exploiting people. Then again, people, for the most part, don't have guns to their heads when they pick these jobs. No one's saying, listen, you better work at Target, you better work at Starbucks right now or else I'm going to blow your head off. It doesn't happen. So people pick bad jobs. They don't necessarily have the skills to do so. They know what they're getting into. On the other hand, there are probably a lot of corporations out there who lack morals in order to turn profits and do exploit their employees in a bad way. And I think probably now greed has a bigger hold on, I guess, American corporations rather. I don't want to say entrepreneurs, but it's not. I like saying free markets. I like the idea of free markets. I also don't like using language that Marx himself created. Like capitalism is a word and is a system that Marx himself created. I like to use the word free market.
Yeah, because the ability to exchange your labor for money is not the same thing as what a lot of them are talking about, which is just corporatism and cronyism, because the biggest exploiter of all of these would be pharma, right?
100%.
And that's because pharma's in bed with the government.
Yes.
And then you get Lady Gaga doing her advertisement for Nurtec. Right? Was that what it was? Nurtec?
It seemed okay. So watching golf a lot now because the U.S. Open is happening, and I've noticed that whenever I watch, especially on Saturdays and Sundays on any like NBC or CBS, the amount of pharmaceutical commercials. I'm sure you guys talk about it all the time. It's insane, and I don't know. We don't have cable. We don't have even prime television. We just really stream it. But even still on like Peacock or Hulu, if you don't pay for the no ad thing, it still is pretty bad.
Yeah. One of my by the way, I'm going to use this as another opportunity to yell at Paramount Plus. Stop with the 2-minute ads when I pay for no ads. I don't care if it's for your show. It's wrong. It's evil.
Yeah.
And it's
false
unconscionable.
advertising.
Yeah.
And it should be punished to the fullest extent of the law.
Just want to watch Yellowstone.
I don't even want to watch. Like I'm watching like reruns of Hawaii Five-0, okay? And I don't want my reruns of Hawaii Five-0 interrupted with your bullshit ads for your shows that nobody watches.
200 seconds.
Exactly. Like I don't
is
want none of
that?
that. It's
I just
crazy.
gave you money.
It's horrible. So we got some super chats there.
Lucius
like this guy.
the Eternal said the movie I Origins is solid and godly.
That is a great. Wait, is that the movie about who is Michael Pitt in that movie?
Seen it.
What's the guy's name who just made the comment?
Lucius the Eternal.
Hey, Lucius the Eternal. Is that the one with Michael Pitt and his girlfriend dies in the elevator?
We'll have to
We'll
wait.
see.
And see.
Right. I don't do dead air.
Deuce Boogaloo said your guest actually looks exactly like UFC fighter Corey Sandigan.
So I have pulled
Look him
up.
up.
Are we pulling him up?
I had a picture of him pulled up, and now I lost it. Hold on.
Okay.
I had a picture of him pulled up, but
Shane H. Wilder said, I timed the PO scenes with a stopwatch and he was on screen for approximately 42 minutes. Watch Padre Pio Miracle Man.
Yeah, that is the better one. 42 minutes?
Guess it felt like less.
Well, ask him if he did it while his face was on screen, because sometimes there are voiceovers with kind of like how Malik would get, scenes of nature with a voiceover, because actual scenes with Pio on it talking are definitely less.
Okay.
so here is the young man that they were talking about here. Yeah, there's.
I see that.
Not the ears though.
No, not the ears. Yeah.
You're, and even if they were, like, those
needs
guys.
to get those clips back.
His ears look like they would just push these headphones out like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. He looks like Channing
That looks
Tatum, kind
A
of.
little bit.
He does.
And I've met Channing. Channing's very nice.
Okay.
I don't even think I'm on the terms to call him.
He did
Mr. Tatum's very nice.
He did a movie called Dog that was actually
I
quite
like
sweet.
that,
It was
right?
quite sweet.
Wasn't it good?
People really liked it.
Okay, so funny story about that. I had met Channing Tatum through a friend of mine who grew up with him, and especially in his later teen years, my friend Nick. And Nick was having a baby shower, and Channing threw him the baby shower. So there was a bunch of people there. I bought a bunch of film cameras, and I set them down on a long table with plates, and they were about to have, that dinner. It was almost like a wedding dinner with the long table. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Who happens to sit next to me is Channing Tatum, and we start talking about dogs. He's like, yeah, I'm doing this I'm producing this documentary about military dogs.
Yeah.
And I think that one came out on HBO.
And then they made the movie out of the documentary.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think there was an advertisement on, like, at the beginning, it says based on the work of this. Yeah.
And we talked about that extensively and how much he really appreciated military dogs and just dogs in general. So
That
was
movie
nice.
is very sweet. It's very enjoyable.
It was sweet.
There's even a little bit of poking fun at like Portland woke people
Yep.
in it, because he's a military dude who just
He
doesn't
barks
get
at the
it.
black people, I think.
Yeah, or there's like a polyamorous couple, if I remember, or something. Like, it's something where he's like,
Yes,
he doesn't
yes.
get it, and
Yeah.
it's really funny.
I think they want to hook up with him or something.
Yeah, and he's just like, like it's played as a fish out of water, but it's definitely good.
I never said I look like Channing Tatum. The guy on the screen, the fighter,
Yeah.
looks like Channing Tatum. So if someone says I look like the guy who looks like Channing Tatum,
He's like, if that means I look a little bit like Channing Tatum, then so
I'll
be
take it.
I'll take it.
Olivia Claire wants to know how many crisis parties to get Mary to go to a WNBA game, and how many to get Brett to go to. I need this wager. Is it cheap to go to those games?
Have you ever seen the video of the guy where he says, "I'll give you 4 WNBA tickets or $1"?
They
and
have to pay you to go.
Everyone takes the dollar.
they're totally subsidized by the NBA.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
So
lose like $10 million
money. Yeah.
How
every
many
year.
crisis parties?
Like, let's see, what is it, like, how much is gas is it going to cost? Where's the, what is the most the closest WNBA team? Would it
That's
be
what I was just
DC?
about to ask. I don't
So
know.
I need to know how much gas it's going to cost me to go to DC to do that, there and back, and then there's the pain and suffering. So, $5 million.
Would you do it for $1,000?
I would. I
They'd
would.
have to pay you emotional distress.
Yeah,
damages.
it would be a lot. It would be a lot because first
How
of all,
about-
we'd have to work it around our work schedule.
10.
10 crisis parties? Sure. That's an absurd amount, but given all the time involved, 10.
Gordon
Plus, it also
Shumway.
guarantees that we're not going to have to go to do it. So that's fantastic. Unless people want to take that as a challenge.
Gordon Shumway said the WNBA loses money every year. The NBA makes billions. The players are lucky to make money. Bill Burr says it best in his bit.
Yep.
Real.
And plus, women. He's like the women. They don't go support the women in the WNBA. They don't go to the games. And this is kind of how the women's football team, the soccer team, they end up making more money than they're like, we just want to make the same as the men, not realizing that the men are part of a league that makes gazillions of dollars every year, and the women are part of a league of women that lose to 15-year-old boys. So it's like they just don't make the same amount of money, but they want the same amount of profit sharing without realizing that they're not sharing in the same amount of profits. It's insane.
Women. Am I right?
Typical woman cap. Yeah.
High Voltage 75 sent a seemingly gibberish
I'm looking
super
for
chat.
it. I can't see it here. Oh, it says, hello, crisis actors backwards.
Oh,
Yes.
you're smart.
That or sciatica or something. I don't, but it looks like hello, crisis actors backwards. Thank
Okay.
you, High Voltage
Well, hello.
75.
Red
Looks
Chief
like I'm
said.
slouching here, but I'm not.
That's okay.
Red
Okay.
Chief said Paul Newman had a natural swing in The Natural.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, Shia LaBeouf in The Greatest Game Ever Played was pretty good. He had a pretty good swing in that one.
Let's do one more and then we will move on.
Gabby Hayes said, complimentary Friday super chat. Great show today, guys. Brett, I was a little surprised by your review. What would you say was your fave action sequence?
In The Flash?
In The Flash.
None of the action was my favorite action sequence in The Flash. The emotional stuff was the
It
stuff
was
that
very
worked for me.
PlayStation 2, as
Very,
you said.
yeah, it looked like PlayStation 2 cutscenes. I'll tell you this. I thought that Sasha Calais as Supergirl did some fantastic superhero posing. Like, she had a very good superhero pose when she's standing there and trying to look big.
Nice and stoic.
She is. She's a very pretty lady that they gave her the worst haircut in the world, but
I think that's
fine.
just her normal haircut that she has.
Well,
and they let her keep it.
Then it's probably one of those things where she's just so attractive that she's like, I need to ugly my haircut up a little bit to make myself look like.
I will never understand that.
So that I thought her thing with Zod was fine, but in general, that's not what I went to this movie for. I was there to watch Barry and his mom and watch the emotional bits because the emotional bits work for that film.
Mm-hmm.
Is Michael Shannon in it?
Yes,
I like him.
He showed up for like we talked about how like he's like they asked me to come back. I was like, how? I died. They're like, it's fine.
It's the multiverse.
And he's like, I don't know what that means.
I
but
guess
sure.
nothing matters.
My other favorite anecdote that they always tell, they always use it as like, I never believe them when they tell these stories. They're like, I was going to turn the movie down, but my son was like, you need to do this, Dad. I'm like, I don't believe. Like, I might have believed the first time I heard that story.
Bezos said that about making Rings of Power.
See? Like, and he's not even going to be in it. Like, I don't buy it.
Like the kids influencing films.
Jeff Bezos said his adult son, who's into Lord of the Rings, was like, "You can't mess this up, Dad."
And
then he did.
I like the idea that his son now just doesn't talk to him. His son's like, the hell with that.
Yeah.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. We will come back after the next topic. Let's get over this one because do you guys remember?
This is ugly.
Not that long ago, I mentioned that a while back, somebody pointed out to me. Now I can't confirm. I don't have the list right in front of me, but somebody said that Warner Brothers Discovery, as a company, has a higher environmental social governance score than that of companies like Disney. And that might seem shocking to you, given the fact that Disney is the company that hires adult film star mermen to be in their movies. Yeah. Well, it turns out that may seem more realistic now because we have this here from Breitbart. It says, Warner Brothers Discovery is sponsoring a film festival celebrating queer childhood with Drag Queen Story Hour for children.
Deadline celebrated this. They said the gay film festival called Outfest will hold a family day celebration on its final day of programming at the Vidiot's Theater.
Yeah.
Queer youth and queer families are invited to enjoy. What is a queer family? Everyone in the family is gay? How did the kid get conceived?
Everything is gay, 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 gay.
Are invited to enjoy a playful, safe, and affirming environment to celebrate vibrant queer childhood with 2 film programs for both children and teens and activities including Drag Story Hour, Marionette Theater, Arts and Crafts, giveaways, and more.
I guess this could be one of those things where maybe like they consider any family that has anyone in the family that's gay would be then
queer family.
Considered a queer family because it's
umbrella.
It's a blended.
Yeah.
It's a blended family.
Mm.
Haha in the chat says, Brett, put the pen down. I will not put the pen down.
You're like Al Gore, not Al Gore, Bob Dole.
Yes.
But this is how Warner Brothers gets their ESG score up.
Yeah, this and like I'm guessing
And
they're
then
very
also,
good at hiring the middle management.
IMDb and Netflix also sponsor Outfest.
Yep.
I gotta cancel my pro
they're doing
membership.
The same thing.
Like everyone's like, if I still had my Netflix membership, I would cancel it again.
I'm talking about my IMDb Pro. How am
Do
I
you
supposed
actually have an IMDb Pro?
Yeah, I use it to cold email actors' agents.
That's amazing.
To get the script to
I
them.
always see it's always paywalled. Like this person's agent's behind the paywall. As I'm a consistent and loving contributor to IMDb trivia sections.
I love it. Thank you for that. By the way, you're the unspoken
hero.
hero.
You should get IMDb Pro and then get it expensed.
Yeah.
Oh, you probably could do that.
Dude, yeah. Like every time I go back through and I look back at something, I'm like, oh, I'm the one who added that. like somebody will point out
Did
something.
you write any for Heat?
No, because that movie had been out for so long that most of the ones that I know are from that.
How is the fact checking on that? Is it like a Wikipedia entry?
Yeah, probably. Like
you just see something that's never in there, like that. What movie was he watching?
You could just lie.
Yeah,
and it would make nobody. Who's really going to tell you that you're wrong?
Denzel turned down the part of Al Pacino, and
a big part of it for me is like I contribute. Like you see an actor that shows up in something, and then you see another actor that showed up in something, and they're in something else together. Like, oh, they appeared in this movie together.
You're the 7 degrees,
but they did not share scenes.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
I'm that guy.
I like that.
I'm that guy. So look, I don't really know if this is going to change people's perspective. It seems like Warner Brothers gets more leeway from people about this stuff than Disney does.
Yeah.
Like there'll be
Is it just
1,000.
more trendy to hate on Disney these days?
It is. And people are like there's me who's like, look at David Zaslav, the ruthless capitalist who just told Batgirl to kick rocks. I love that guy. But at the same time, and remember, like, people hate that guy. They're like, look at him, he's a Trump supporter, which is clearly not true. He donated to all campaigns and has been to the White House under the Biden administration. So, but it's like, weirdo Twitter just has their hard on for certain people that they hate, and David Zaslav is one of them because he canceled Batgirl, I guess. So maybe maybe that's what this is. Maybe this is an apology for canceling Batgirl.
He's a capitalist, but he's not a Republican.
No, not by any stretch of the imagination.
I didn't know this about Cartoon. I mean, no, Cartoon Network is like super woke now. There are no animated shows for kids that are just for kids. It's all geared toward adults. And it's like Steven Universe and We Baby Bears. It says in We Baby Bears, they had characters introduced who are gender non-binary and use they them pronouns.
Yeah.
What was the show we talked about with the non-binary bison? Where was that? Was that on Netflix?
Is that real?
That was Netflix, I think.
There was a Netflix show for literally toddlers that had a non-binary character that is a bison that came out as non-binary to its bison grandmother.
Somebody in the chat points out fairly, they say Disney is known to cater to kids specifically, while Warner is not. So that might be why they consider it more appropriate to push back on Disney, because they're very clearly for kids, whereas Warner Brothers just
fair.
a large conglomerate. That's a fair assumption, or a fair conclusion. Also, somebody else, a full-grown man says, you're wrong. Queer family is referring to the family ABCs choose. James Lindsay talked about this and broke it down well. Okay.
ABC's choose?
So I'm guessing he means members of the LGBTQ community.
They're chosen families.
Oh, choose.
Yeah, chosen families. So, and as I point out all the time, Hollywood loves stories about chosen family. They hate telling stories about actual family, love telling stories about disenfranchised people who find a family.
Or that's even before it was made something about like being queer.
Oh,
like,
yeah, long before
Friends is a chosen family
because
show,
it's about,
right?
I believe
I've never
back
really
then,
seen too much of it, so.
I believe back then it was just because it was more interesting to tell stories about people from broken homes. It made easy storytelling, but it's morphed into something far different than that now.
It was a huge trope on Disney Channel that every family in all of their popular sitcoms were either divorced parents or one parent is dead, and usually the mom was dead.
When did that change? Going back, I mean, we remember TGIF on ABC. Those were normal families. Apart from like Step by Step, it was a blended family, but still one mother, one father.
And there was a show called One-on-One starring Flex Alexander and Kyla Pratt. I love that show, but that was like, he was just the dad.
Okay.
But yeah,
everybody, they had mothers and fathers.
Back during then.
Nobody was gay.
It was not as common back then.
Everyone's gay now.
It seems that way.
Listen,
sometimes.
they come for Bluey. I blow stuff up.
I saw that. Well, didn't they already?
They tried to, like they apologized.
You were just kidding, by the way. You're not actually going to blow anything up.
Yes. My favorite thing was when they came for Paw Patrol for being pro-cop.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
I never made a direct threat to anything.
When they were talking about Paw Patrol being pro-police, therefore it's bad.
Police brutality,
and Bluey body shames fat dogs.
Oh, that's right. Because the dog wanted to get into shape. I mean, don't you feel bad for a fat dog when you see one?
I do. I blame the owners.
Yes.
Usually.
But the dog wanted to get fit.
Yeah. So how can you blame
We're in an
it?
anti-fitness world now, where you're shamed for wanting to get fit because you're supposed to just love your body the way it is.
Yeah.
And I bet you Warner Brothers would like to make you a movie about being gay and loving your body just the way it is, so that they can show it at this film festival. Mm-hmm. Which is sad too, because I look back and a lot of times it does a disservice because there are storylines in movies and television shows. Like, look, Brokeback Mountain isn't a bad movie. It's not a bad movie, but it was just made at a time when it was a unique story to tell. Now, it's not that they're bad stories. It's that they're still selling it to you like it's something different and new.
Yeah.
And it's not different and new anymore. It's the status quo now. It's now half the stories.
Yeah, like The Crying Game, not a bad movie.
Yeah. Like, it's just strange. Like, it
Midnight
would be a lot
Cowboy.
better if they didn't market it the way they market it, and they just tried to sell you, like, this is a movie that just happens to have this storyline, but it's a good movie first.
Right.
I don't need you to sell it that way. It's like when they do every February, your streaming services list, it's all of the
black
black
movies.
creators,
Yes.
all this and that. Or then in June, it's LGBTQI plus Pride movies and stuff, and then Bros is right there at the top.
Latinos.
Can't
Yeah,
wait until
so-
this month is over.
like I said, I don't care that they're making these movies. I care that they don't know how to sell them to people, because it's inherently, oddly enough, hard for people to identify with what they're watching when it's the only reason to sell it on you. Sell it to the person on the story.
Yeah.
You can identify with the characters beyond their sexuality and their race and gender if it's a good story. I don't need
That story would be too honest.
I don't need somebody to look like me. I don't need
No.
someone to be of the same sexual identity as me to identify with that character. Not in the slightest. It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. No.
So it's weird.
I can think of a couple of movies where I didn't have a physical embodiment of myself in the movie where I was like, okay, this is a good movie. It Happened on Beale Street was or was it just called Beale Street? I can't remember, but it came out maybe 3 years ago. Really, really good movie about, I think, like Harlem in the 1930s or 40s, something like that.
Thank
Really,
you.
really good movie. And even Moonlight. I love the way that movie was shot. I love the
never saw
cinematography. I love the score.
bisexual lighting.
Yeah, the bisexual lighting. Yeah, do I have a problem with the content of it? No, because it doesn't affect me when I watch film like this. Like, I don't feel attacked when I'm watching film. I want to be inspired to create art.
Yep.
That sounds a little gay.
I want to ask you guys, when it comes to drag queen story hours, obviously this is predatory to expose your children to this, but do you think that the drag queens themselves always... Do you think they're good intentioned?
No.
Do you think that they like see these themselves in these kids, and like because they feel so alienated, or they did growing up, that they like think they're actually doing something good for society?
No.
Or do you think it's just like purely
I think they're degenerate and freaks.
like a sexual
Right.
pathology that
Yes.
they're getting off on?
100%. Why would they do it? There are different ways to reach kids, and dressing up as the opposite sex and twerking on a 6-year-old is never well intentioned. I don't care how you
That's the most
cope
extreme
for it.
example of that, though. Like,
No, but even one sitting down in front of a group of
Reading a book.
and
Yeah.
reading a book.
Yeah.
Why do you have to dress up? What does that do? What does that tell the kids? They're there to hear a story. Why should you have to dress up as a woman with makeup and high heels in order to tell a story?
And the delusional parents just think, I'm culturally enriching my
I'm
children.
helping.
I'm exposing them to, things that are,
No, take
on
them
the fringe.
take them to the Met.
yeah. Well, even that's
Even that,
not so
right,
good.
right, no.
But like, I don't know, at least for the parents, I can see how there could be some like good intentions behind that if they don't really know what this subculture is about. But if you like take 5 minutes to research the history
But
of
they're not
drag,
doing that. They're not doing that.
you would understand like it's always been sexual, it's always been explicitly
Correct.
for adults.
Yes.
And it's bad for everyone when those lines are blurred.
Maybe give the kids I wouldn't even endorse this, but give the kids a Rumspringa. You know what I mean? There's a certain age where you can go out, experience whatever you have to, get it all out of your system. Until then, we're not going to expose you to that. So I put it on the parents just as much as I do the drag queens.
Mm-hmm.
But I still wouldn't even do that with my kids. It's degenerate. Don't do it.
You also don't even need to like take your kids to a drag story hour if they're going to see all of this on their phones anyway.
Yeah.
With unsupervised
I
internet
I
access.
tend to comment on all our local libraries. I when they say, "Hey, join us for this. We're going to talk about this specific book," and if it's some gay book, because my daughter goes to story time at the library, if they post anything like that, I usually say something like, "What the f is this shit?" or something like that.
It's either that or it's some race propaganda.
They even have like coloring like pages that they can color with like pride and
just
gay.
check the books out and never return them.
Yeah, the worst you have to do is pay a $35 late fee.
So what?
So what?
Small price to pay, they say.
Yeah.
That's what my dad did with an FBI watch list book.
Become
He
ungovernable.
stole the book and just paid a late fee.
I think for the most part, one of the biggest issues here is just the parents. The best case scenario are parents that just don't understand the subculture and don't understand what they're involving their family in an attempt to be the awfuls that they
it's
are.
a lot of straight females bringing their babies to this.
White
without-
liberal women are going to be the downfall of this country. But do you think that they're
awfuls.
willfully that ignorant? I don't know what's going on here. Let me check it out. Just a drag queen reading to my 4-year-old.
I think they have a pathological need to feel like they accept people. I think there's a pathological need to prove that you're more accepting than everyone else.
Or they're Patrick Batemans. They just want to fit in.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's that. I think it's a pathological need to feel morally superior to everyone else.
I get that.
In a lot of ways, mainly because
One that specifically women have.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying white Western women, not to make this too political, have a pathological need to feel morally superior by appearing to be more inviting and respectful than everyone else. Oddly enough, the same people who paradoxically are the ones that are famous for yelling at you, yelling at a waiter for not getting the order right.
Right.
It's the trope of like the not to bring the religious folks into this, but it's the trope of like the woman who just comes from church and then yells at the waiter.
Yes.
It's
Well,
that.
that's
but
just a
it's-
hypocrite.
But
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. But it's
right.
it's that. But it's on a grander scale. They really do. It's. Have you ever seen the meme where it's the guy and he's like this and says like white people when they insult other white people on Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it is.
We got a super chat from Airtees00. He said, I could have sent you to a WNBA game, but buying a server rack and equipment, so this will have to do. You escape this time.
Well, thank you, Erites.
We think
maybe
of a
next
slur
time.
for those women.
They're
When you just-
awfuls. They're awfuls.
That's what they're called?
The women in the
Affluent white-
WNBA?
No, the women who are subconsciously like need
Awfuls.
the awfuls.
Affluent
It's
white.
liberal.
Oh,
females,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Affluent white liberal what?
yeah. Affluent white female liberals.
Yeah.
Is awesome.
That's awesome.
haven't heard that
No,
before?
I haven't. I'm surprised I
I'm
haven't.
surprised that a lot of people haven't heard of that.
Because what, Karen is now a derogatory term, right? A racially
And
derogatory
that's
term.
annoying because that was not racially. It was not.
Right.
It was not initially racially.
It
focused.
encompasses all genders
It encompassed anyone that decided to be a dick to somebody who worked in the.
Who had
Right,
a
the
specific
service industry,
haircut
yeah.
from the
Who
2000s.
had this haircut?
Yeah.
And said, "I'd like to speak to your manager." It didn't matter.
Yes.
what
Kind of weird
race
how
you
in the 2000s all those moms got that haircut and it was kind of the same one that their emo children
daughter,
had.
yeah.
Yeah.
Both listen to my Kim.
Yeah.
Well, no, like the moms that got it
with
were
the spikes in the back.
were older than the moms, the daughters that had it. The moms were too young to have that haircut yet. So the moms that by the time they got it,
They
their kids were
appropriated
old
it.
enough,
Yeah.
it no longer
Yeah.
had it.
Gotcha.
So and they had the sunglasses that like they're like brown tinted sunglasses and they were overly large.
We know the type.
I can. It's literally. It's
a lot of long.
I'm having
Island numbers.
flashbacks to when I worked at Target. I really am. I'm
You want to
me
go to
out.
super chats?
Let's like okay. I'll ask you one more question about this because I think it's fair. Look, I would imagine that in any of these groups, there's probably some women. There's probably some members of these groups that have good intentions or see it as a way of reaching people in a way that's healthy. But I think, as with anything, bad actors can latch on to any movement. But my question is the same for all of it. Is why does it have to be introduced at all? At such a young age, why does it matter? And do you think it really is just a white Western woman's world where we now have to let them? They've kind of turned their kids into purse puppies, where they're like, "Look at me, I'm so inclusive and I'm so tolerant." Do you see this as something that could be stopped if not for these companies? Like, is it going to come down to these companies making it less cool? Because that's what they're doing. They want to make it cool. They want to make the moms feel like, what can we do on Saturday? We'll go to this show. Like, will it be on the companies or will it be on the families?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Well,
I would like to extend the benefit of the doubt on some of these mothers. You know what I mean? Like, I really would
know.
like to, but
I don't think so.
I can't. I think the companies, the corporations,
We
are
kind
just
of
following
have like
trend.
a self-imposed one-child policy in this country, and I mean, the normalization of like queerness is part of that.
Yeah.
And remember,
But they take their purse puppy child to these events.
And remember, when people say queer, they're not using a slur. That is queer is a political movement.
Yes.
It has nothing to do
I
with.
think they do this because they're hoping that their child will grow up and be gay. Like they're hoping to introduce it early on.
Because they will wash off their sin of being
And then
white
this
and
is
straight.
this is the child's idea of like how I can get acceptance from my mother.
Yeah.
It's really like just a malignant disease.
Munchausen by proxy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Let's go to super chats.
Supers.
Shane H. Wilder said, sorry about male gingers in film. All we can offer you is a Rupert Grint. Yeah, we forgot to mention him.
I mean, probably
been
the
the big
best
one,
one of all
yeah.
time, maybe. Subjective.
John Andrew 23 sent us a... Oh, no, I already read that one. Call Me Snow Possum said, Buffy season 1 is cheesier than Wisconsin, and I love it. Thanks for the recommendation, Brett.
I love those first seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They're so fantastic.
She has a good father. Isn't that like another strong father character?
No, it's her. Her dad's not in it that much. It's her mom that's in the show, and she's kind of
The Sarah Michelle Gellar one?
yeah.
Okay.
Willow. Allison Hannigan, redhead. There you go, in that show.
Okay, but we've
guys, we're
established
doing
the
men.
females don't count.
Oh, they don't count. Okay, yeah, sorry.
They do in life,
yeah.
but not per this discussion.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. Both fantastic shows. Everyone should go and check them out.
I never watched those.
Yep.
Isaac Martinez said, Oppenheimer will still make money in the long run. It just needs a big word of mouth and good reviews.
Yeah, it's gonna have to. And it was made on a smaller budget, to be fair, than I expected it to be. So we'll see how it. We'll see how
Was
it.
Was it under 200 million?
I believe so.
Both of them are 100 million.
Yeah. It's,
Really?
Yeah.
So then people thought it was like scheduled for the same weekend as a middle finger to Christopher Nolan.
Because it's through his old studio. Because Barbie is being made through Warner Brothers, and he's not working with Warner Brothers anymore. He's working with Universal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
Mass, I'm not going to say that part, said, howdy y'all, Lauren Ambrose and Michael C. Hall, woman and man, both redheads, were both on 6 Feet Under on HBO.
Oh, that's
Best
right.
series finale ever.
I gotta watch that show. I keep on
saw
hearing
it.
really
I never saw
good
it.
things about 6 Feet Under.
I've started Rescue Me with Dennis
Good.
Leary.
It gets good, but then after a while, it gets sort of repetitive.
Yeah.
That's why I hated Succession. It was no other show I've ever seen that I've hated as much as Succession.
Really?
It's the same episode.
Just over and
every
over again.
episode.
Yeah.
And people are like, this is the greatest show I've ever seen. You have an IQ of 60, sir.
Shane H. Wilder said he did include the voiceover. I included voiceover also. The longest time he was actually on screen at one time was 3 minutes.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild to promote it as heavily as they did with him in it?
Wow.
It's such a weird, and you would not appreciate P.O. for the cinematography. They have to use at least 3 different cameras. And not all of the same quality. They use a really good camera, then they use very bad cameras. I don't know if that's a creative choice or if they just didn't have the budget for it.
If it was a creative choice, then it's not good because normally you should be able to tell why it was done creatively.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's just not good.
Let's do one more and then let's talk about Arnie.
Grofty just said buck, buck, buck.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's talk about Arnie real quick because right now we are now starting off the 2024 presidential race with a whole bunch of hooplas going on between do we want Biden to run? He's like 8 gazillion years old. He's holding Eva Longoria really creepily while talking about that Flaming Hot Cheetos movie.
Movie sucked.
You don't want to trust him around your kids, all this stuff. But Arnie says that he thinks that he could win if he had run. What do you think? Do you think he could have won?
I could win.
Do you think I could win?
Yeah.
excited.
Well, like I said before, another good Austrian leader is maybe necessary, but I probably
But
wouldn't vote for
They didn't
Arnie.
ask which party.
Yeah, like would he run?
I know which one.
He would run. Well, because he was a Republican. He was a Republican governor.
In
so,
name
A
only.
Republican in 2003.
Yeah, he was a rhino. So
Yeah,
like,
he was a Mitt Romney Republican.
so he's like, well, we go to war.
Yeah.
Like he's like the Ukraine. Like
Yeah.
like I love it.
He's
Like,
a big
such a throwback.
environmental alarmist, though, isn't he?
Yes, he's
Right.
he calls people who don't believe in climate change fools and all these things. And he's
Yeah.
like, and if I have to bomb your hometown to get you to believe in climate change, then so be it.
Well, listen, it adds a little bit of drama and excitement to the race, right? Why
And
not?
yes, yeah. And Rhaegar the Targaryen or Sketch Therapy says he's not American. No, that's the point
Well,
of the article.
They asked if not for the
Fact that you're not a natural.
his ineligibility.
Yeah.
He said, well, yes, of course. I mean, I think the field was wide open in 2016. Imagine him running up against Trump in
That
the
would've been
primaries.
great.
And I think
I
the
would've-
field is open right now. Think about it right now. I mean, who is there? There's really not a person that can bring everyone together.
So is he
Who
saying
is
that
here
he's
today?
got no faith in Biden? Is that what he's saying?
Well, no one is going to bring everyone together.
I think Robert
Who is
Kennedy
here
might have
today
a
that people
might have a
say,
shot.
okay, he's not too old or he's not too this or too that? Or is that because it's now a question about who do you vote against than who do you vote for? He's definitely too old. He's like 70, right?
He's 72 or something.
Would you consider bodybuilding a type of art?
Sure.
Austrian artist. I'm telling you, this guy should run.
Artist.
Dude, I heard somewhere.
Not failed, though.
Somebody tell me if this is true or not. I once heard that the song "The Sign" by Ace of Base is about Hitler's artwork.
Oh, I don't know. I've never heard that one before.
I heard that somewhere. It could be a complete lie. I have no idea.
We'd have to go into the actual, what are they called? Verses.
Yeah,
To figure that out, because I can't make it make sense with just the chorus.
So I don't know. I don't like. I do think it's
put
funny.
me in because it's a no-brainer. I see so clearly how I could win that election.
He could not win.
But you can't because you can't even run. So.
He wouldn't win anyway. I don't think he would win. I don't think
there'd be no shot.
He's a centrist. He said people are looking for a new answer, not right wing or left wing.
They're really
that can
not.
Bring the nation together. Yeah, that's not true.
No, we don't want. I don't want to hold hands with freaking. I almost said a word, a bad one, but I don't want to hold hands with those type of people. So there's no bringing anybody together.
The people you're trying to win over theoretically are those who could swing either way because you already have.
That's why I think Robert Kennedy might get, at least some of that hand holding going on.
How can you even hear the name Kennedy at this point and have any trust in that individual when we know that family's
evil? That's tough. But he's he's the RFK Kennedy. He's not a JFK Kennedy, right? He's RFK's son.
Still, that family's evil.
Yeah, not good Catholics. I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as Arnie goes, see what he could do. It would be fun for the ads because he could use all his movie roles as like ads where he's like the Terminator and he's chasing down debts like the debt ceiling,
like
it's
someone in a gas car.
I like the idea of him doing that, or like
he's gonna be Green Party.
He's the Predator, but the Predator is actually like I guess would be Russia, and he's going after Russia, and Arnie. Man, I'm here for it.
He's done it before. Oh no, that's Sylvester Stallone. Yeah. But could he possibly endorse somebody and do those ads for that person, or he would never endorse anyone on the right?
He wouldn't be allowed to do it anyways because the studios own the characters, so he wouldn't be allowed to.
Yes,
it wouldn't be allowed. But it would be if it would be fantastic.
That'd be great. Yeah,
it would be great. I'd be here for it. So we got a $20 one there from Grofty.
Thanks for a great start of the weekend, PCC. I'm always lurking at the end of the workday. Buck. You're welcome.
What is the buck? What does that help me?
He identifies as a chicken.
Yes.
Buck?
Yeah.
It's not cluck?
I think they buck.
Oh, buck. Yeah. They don't cluck.
Yep.
They don't. Oh my.
Let it be known.
I've just had a revelation.
Maybe he could be running on the specter of Ronald Reagan, because Reagan was a movie star too, and
I mean Trump was mostly a media TV personality.
Yep, but he was culturally relevant beyond that. He was my favorite thing to point out is just listen to any rap artist from the 90s and they idolized Trump. They loved him.
Not even the 90s.
Even from the
Mac Miller.
Yeah.
Yep. Literally idolized
Shremmond.
Trump in what was that? That song came out in 2012.
Yeah, he was great for that industry, and
I won't forget. Trump was widely loved by everyone.
Yep, because he's
and then all of a sudden the flip of the switch.
They flipped the switch.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So look, I'm not. I wouldn't vote for him, but that's just me. That's just
He's looking pretty haggard in this photo.
Yeah, that's not his best photo. He looked all right in Fubar. He looked kind of not completely. Granted, that's a movie, so they got heavy makeup on.
How was that?
Bad.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It wasn't. It was pretty he's hard to understand in that movie.
So a former CIA operative wouldn't know that his daughter is a current CIA operative?
You would think, right?
I hate it. I always say I can write better stuff, and I do, but maybe I should write worse stuff. Maybe I should do that.
I always set my sights high. I always set my sights higher. Maybe what I should be doing is setting my sights lower.
Yeah, when they go high, we go low. Who's that guy? The Attorney General said that?
Yeah. I don't remember who it was that said that. But
I want Arnie to be strong on the border.
That's funny
because we have a huge influencer smuggling problem at the border.
You want to mention that? Yeah, guys. If you want a known way of thinking about dystopia, I think I got rid of this article. There was an article pulled up today, guys, about
coyotes turned smuggling influencers would be funny if they weren't real.
Yeah. So they're basically saying that they're finding influencers are finding business for coyotes with TikTok. That's insane.
Or using
Eric Holder.
hashtag codes to geo-target potential
what?
customers.
Dude, that is freaking crazy, dude. Like,
Shut it down.
now we need to get like, are there shows based on the border? Like we have Dog the Bounty Hunter who gets criminals. Do we have like Border Patrol shows?
There's gotta be.
Like,
There's
or
gotta
no,
That'd be too divisive.
You know what they can do? They can implement this into Sicario 3.
Oh yeah.
Because they were gonna make it. It was supposed to be a trilogy. It was
That's
never.
right.
It was never supposed to be a trilogy, but they lied and pretended like it was after they made the second one.
Mm-hmm.
They can have Benicio del Toro, like take out an influencer coyote ring.
That'd be awesome.
That would be hilarious. All right.
Who would
All
be
right.
run by?
Too, because in the like, would they be able to get Josh Brolin back somehow? Like, I love the first one. That one is a masterpiece.
Classic.
It's classic.
Classic.
So.
Mike Vinnick all the way.
All right, but and then no Emily Blunt in the second one, but that was fine. They didn't need her in the second one.
No,
No.
they didn't. I don't think so.
Also, Jeffrey Donovan. Like, you get Jeffrey Donovan outside of television, which I'm always glad to see him.
Well, that's the Mike. That's the Mike Vinning kind of tip of the hat too. So,
Yeah.
Do you know the Mike Vinning story?
No.
So Mike Vinning was this former special forces operator
Oh,
in the 80s
no,
and
yes,
90s.
yes.
And that's who
Okay,
they
yeah.
modeled his character after.
Because the glasses,
Yes,
right?
just an
Yeah.
accountant who could kill you in 80 different ways.
Yeah.
The Accountant, great movie. Ben Affleck.
I never saw The
It's
Accountant.
good. It's a fun ride.
I never saw The Accountant, and I never saw, what was the other one that he had that came out at that time? Live by Night?
Oh, that's bad.
I heard Live by
Who's
Night
the
was
girl in The Accountant? The one that was in End of Watch who played Jake Gyllenhaal's Anna Kendrick?
Yes.
She's not attractive, is she?
Or no, is that Anna Kendrick?
Yes. A lot of people say she's attractive. I don't think so.
I think she's attractive.
I think she's
You
a
have to have
strong
something-
5.
You gotta look like you got bonked on the head.
She's a
then love
strong
it.
5. She's more than a 5.
Pull up a photo of her. Pull up the best photo that you can.
She's pretty.
She's not a 5.
Are we arguing hot or pretty?
Here
The
we
old
go
office
again
trope.
with all of the different.
I think they categorize it like cute, pretty, and hot.
Okay, what are we trying
She's
to
pretty.
She's pretty?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm trying to find like
I would say she's probably
I'm
cute.
finding like a less flattering picture, so we find her in the middle. Like
Oh.
here's her looking at a TV. I think she's very pretty.
Cute at best. At best.
She looks like she'd be great in a Hallmark movie.
She probably has been. I mean, before she got big. I mean, I don't know.
She's I think she's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. She might yell it.
No,
She's
she
unique
looks like
looking.
she looks like people that I've had my teenage jobs with, like worked at the
She's definitely
ice cream
pretty.
parlor.
Okay. There we go.
Sorry, sidebar. Do people usually do this that you have on? They just go on like these weird tangents.
Yeah.
They do, right? Okay.
This is normal.
Yeah.
Got
All right.
plenty of time to do so.
Let's go to Super Chat, shall we?
DD Megadoodoo 97 said, "Gotta have a joint PCC and YDG stream, then call it Shamer." I'm pretty sure that name isn't getting used.
I don't think that name's allowed.
I haven't heard of anything called Shamer. Grofty said, "The ESG stuff is making me want to peck at people's toes."
People
Fuck,
are
fuck.
saying Girl Next Door 5, 6.3. I'm back on the Anna Kendrick stuff here now. 7, 5.2. I'm reading some of the ratings. Pretty cute. Never mind, I just saw her legs. 4.
Girl Next Door, Alicia Cuthbert. She's high up there.
She doesn't
She's like
have
an
to
8.
be some kind of smoldering
I just
bombshell.
rewatched The Girl Next Door the other night because it's on Hulu now.
It's bad.
No,
but
it's not. I
No,
don't think it's bad.
it's bad, but it's good.
I love it.
Like
I
the
love
Timothy
that
Olyphant
movie.
character.
I love
one of my
that
favorite actors, by the way.
Yes,
Timothy Olyphant,
Justified.
fantastic. Yes,
Justified. And Scream 2.
Yes.
And,
I have a friend who's going to be in not the reboot, but they're doing another
Primeval?
season of Justified.
City Primeval.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
it's-
I think he's in the first episode.
That's
Really
awesome.
good buddy of mine.
That's awesome.
DD Megadoodoo 97 said, "IDG, I meant."
Ah, okay.
Yes, not YDG.
What's IDG? That
I'm
was
doing
me.
great.
That's
yeah.
you.
But
Oh,
you
hey,
rebranded.
thanks for that.
Nathan Koss said, "Tobacco companies have better ESG score than Tesla."
Yep.
How's that possible?
Really?
Yeah, he's pointed that. Elon's pointed that out several times.
Really?
He's proud of it.
But how do they do that? Because they can't really market.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they can commit money to social causes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
and
so
stuff
kind of like
that.
under
Yeah.
the table. kinda.
or who they hire.
Damn, so I
do
can't
they
stand big
have-
tobacco anymore?
Do they have their segregated training
Newports.
programs
I
and
need
stuff
to know
like that?
the ESG score for Zins.
There you go. Mary needs to know.
I have them right here.
Those things scare me
Why?
because I don't know how nicotine would affect me.
Well, I mean, if you don't want nicotine, then don't use them.
But don't they have? Do they have non-nicotine where you just? It's kind of like
What would be in it?
I don't know, like sweetness. Give me like a pineapple
they
flavored
make gum.
Zin.
That's literally called gum.
I guess.
Yeah, there's a thing.
But you don't
for
chew that. You just put it in your lip.
Yeah. What? You just want like a sweet.
A nice little flavor in my mouth for 20 minutes.
They
maybe.
make that too. They're called mints. They make those flavored mints that are not.
It's been done already.
Dang.
There's a couple more there from Sketch Therapy.
He said PCC has a chicken enclave ruled by Roberto Jr.
Yes.
Yeah, if you didn't know that already, or if you didn't see outside, there is a chicken coop.
I did see it, yes.
Yeah, you hear it too.
I
You
used to
don't
have
see it.
chickens, so I should know that. My chickens weren't going, buck, buck, buck. They were going, ah.
Sledgehog, do they cluck or do they buck?
They bucked, you're right.
Yeah. Sledgehog said the other dude
Propaganda.
in Ace of Base used to be actual sea-killing Swedish Nazis in the 80s. So there might be something in the sign theory.
That's crazy.
Wait, Swiss or Swedish Nazis? Because
Swedish.
was
It's
ABBA
Swedish.
Swiss or Swedes?
ABBA was Swedish.
They were Swedish.
Yes.
Did you know? Okay, this probably. I'm not, you guys might not even know the song. There's a very like popular viral song slipping through my fingers. Have you heard it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that was an ABBA song. It's an ABBA song.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that, and I'm just really excited to tell other people who probably don't care.
I know. James Ornthal one said a Big Mike is the author of When They Go Low quote.
Ah.
Oh wait, you guys are talking about Ace of Base.
Yes, not ABBA. Ace of Base.
Did the super chat say ABBA or Ace of Base?
Base.
Oh, maybe
He was just too excited to talk about ABBA. He just got distracted.
Well,
got
maybe
carried
the
away.
Abbins, I think, were Swedish too, so maybe they were
ABBA was Swedish.
sympathizers. Too.
ABBA was
I mean,
Swedish.
I don't know.
All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Thank you very much. My friend, Mike, let
Yes.
everyone know where they can find you.
Oh, well, you know, if you're able to get to a working link of censored.tv, please go there. The show's called The New Nation. I would really appreciate that. You can find me on Instagram at The New Nation as well. And then that's probably about it.
All right.
My photography work is out there. You can, like I said, Google. If you can find a link, if you need me to take photos for you, I
Hire
can
me,
do it.
please.
Yeah, I'm expensive. I'm not cheap.
There you go. Know your worth, King.
Yeah.
I really do. I turn down jobs.
There you
Not
go.
really, though. I'll do anything.
All right, Mary, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on Twitter. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. Guys, if you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms.
I'm
Thank you
going
very
to
much.
now.
Pop Culture Crisis is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you would like to listen to this podcast, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you'd like to follow the show on
Sellouts.
social media, we are on Twitter at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode on Monday. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
I like this show.